What is up? Welcome in, everybody. Welcome to the Nick Club Wrestling Happy Hour. I am one half of your host and virtual bartender, Mr. Nick Teodoro. Joining me, as always, is my tag team partner in life, my wife, Miss Nicole. How are you doing this evening, Nicole?
I am doing very well.
What do you have?
It's very rainy here in New Jersey, but I am sticking to my normal Tito's, orange, and cranberry juice. Mr. Nick, I need you to tell us what we're talking about today and what you're drinking.
Well, SummerSlam was last night, so we have Betrayals, we have new champions, and we have returns. It is Sunday, August 4th, 2024. This is the Nick Club Wrestling Happy Hour. Welcome back in, everybody. Happy Sunday Fun Day. It is SummerSlam weekend. We are recapping what was an amazing SummerSlam. Nikki, your thoughts overall on the PLE?
Shout out Leif. Leif is with us today. I loved it. I think it was a fun show, a surprising show. I know we predicted a lot of belts changing. I didn't expect that many back to back. I think the matches were good. I think the crowd was fun. I think it was one of the tops of the year.
Yeah, I agree. I give it a solid B plus at minimum.
Mm-hmm.
The energy from start to finish was crazy. The amount of momentum that they started the program with and then carried in throughout was impressive to just keep it going. Because I even said to you, I was like, I don't know if they keep this up for the whole show, and it seemed like for the most part they did. There was a lot of twists and turns along the way, and I really enjoyed what we saw overall.
Right. I think the only really low, as much as I love R-Truth, like that little R-Truth Miz Jelly Roll thing, but I guess we really needed a pee break match because, you know, that used to be like the women's match, and now like those two we opened with one, the other one was good. Like there was no it was I have to see everything. There wasn't nothing I was about. Like I wanted to see every single match.
Yeah, it was a great 7 card. We said 5 to 7 card match card is what we liked, and everything, you know, for the most part ran its course. It told a nice story.
Mm-hmm.
There was one match in there that was a lot shorter than we both anticipated. We'll get to it in a little bit later, but we want to hear from all you. Would you all think of SummerSlam last night? Did you expect what we saw? What was the biggest surprise for you all? Biggest surprise for me was, I have to hand it to you, Nikki went 6-1 on her predictions yesterday, so touche.
Thank you. Oh, let me bow a little bit. The only one that was wrong was Punk and Drew, and I'm really not mad that Drew won either. So I feel like the real winner here today.
Spoken like a true politician.
Yeah, well,
unbelievable. Well, let's get right to it. We talked about in the opening, there is a lot going on. We start with the Betrayals. Let's catch you up if you missed it.
Lies. Ooh, yeah. La 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 live. Ooh yeah. La 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 live. Ooh yeah. La 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 live. Ooh yeah. La 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 lives. So you say you are my friend, gonna take me to my promised land. So you say to be careful, but it's all la 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 life. Ooh yeah. La, 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 la.
All lies.
Oh my
That's
God.
all it is. La 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 la
That's
lies.
gonna be in everyone's head the rest of the time now.
What can I
You're
say?
getting so good at this.
Well, welcome in, Murdog.
Hello, welcome. And then
Lisa-
Lisa, you're just, I just
Lisa.
want to be like la 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 la.
La 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 Lisa.
True. Oh my God, John should be saying that to you, Lise.
Ah,
Oh,
so
God, but we
let's
digress.
get into it.
It's so crazy because if you're new here, we always watch the pay-per-view live, and then the next day I rewatch it again for the podcast. And watching it under the scope again, spoilies. Well, again, this is when I'm watching this. Rewatching that match, knowing what Dom's going to do, is a whole nother watched that match so differently. Like they walk down there all cutesy, but when the match starts, so as you know, as a wrestler, like goodies on this side, baddies on that side, and he was standing behind Liv, between like that side of the ring and the announce table. Like, wouldn't you stand behind the corner of the person you're supposed to be with? So I was like, sir, I don't know how.
Body language.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, I don't know. But then how the match starts, it's a lot of stalling. Like Liv just basically keeps rolling out the ring, and at one point they finally like meet in the middle. Like Rhea again, sexy saunter crawls over to her, and then we start the match. She starts
Sexual vibes.
sexual tension. Short arm clothesline. They're outside for a little bit. We're back in the ring. Rhea hits that crazy headbutt that she does. Then she grabs her for the riptide and slams her on the top of the ring post, and then hits her again on the mat, kick out. And then,
which I also, just to backtrack, I really like. I mean, they've been doing a lot. I call it the hard cam open, but it's not the hard cam. The backstage cam when they're walking through. Yeah, them walking out. I really like that component of this.
Yeah, I liked it the other when she came back, and they had her come up the elevator and then come out, and she was like flirting with the camera, and I was like, when we watched it, I was like, oh, that's cute. And then when you watch it again, you're like, Dominic, you dirty. Like the way he's fake smiling at her, I'm like, how dare you, sir?
Look at that face of a liar. The face of a liar.
I know. Ugh. So this is when it gets a little gnarly. So Rhea goes to run at Liv, and then she hits the turnbuckle ring post thing, and then she starts screaming. And again, she's rewatching this match. She's an incredible seller. Incredible. And just like when she hits it, her eyes are incredible too. And she just like looks, and she starts yelling at the Eddie Ring of the ref, like, it's out. And he's like, do you want to at this point, Dom doesn't say a goddamn word. He just like looks at her like, what? And then
he's dummy Dom.
Yeah. And basically Rhea's like, don't you dare, don't stop the match. So now she's
which you knew that was going to be a focus with her coming
her
back. It had to be, they were going to work the arm in this whole match. That was going to be, and that was going to be the advantage because Liv's much smaller than like everyone. Well, a lot of people are much smaller and less muscular than Rhea. So you have to find a way to even the odds. This is their way of doing it. Her coming back from the injury.
Yeah. So at this point, she's targeting. So like she's like. Rhea waves off Eddie and the ref, like, we're gonna have this match. And of course, then Liv targets the arm. And at one point, Rhea rolls out of the ring, and then Dom's kind of like, what? And
he just played stupid this
whole time.
He does it really well. It comes naturally.
Yeah. And then at this point, Dom shoves Rhea out the way to catch, like, Liv diving out of the ring onto him. At this point, I'm like, you weren't protecting Rhea. You wanted to catch your girl. So you think he's like, oh, he's protecting mommy. Let me shove her this way.
Yeah,
But
he just
really,
wanted to hug.
He just wanted to grope her. How dare you? But then at this point, so she's down, and then Rhea, like a crazy woman, shoves herself into the announce table to pop her shoulder back in.
That was an awesome. I really, really like that spot.
Yeah, well, again, watching it back this morning, it looked cooler because, like, when I know what's gonna happen. So at first I was like, "What did she just do?" And then she's like popping her shoulder back in, and Cole, Pat, and Corey freak out. And I love when they do the replay. They have like that Michael Cole cam at the announce table, and it's the three of them jump, and then Corey Graves stands up, and it's like, well, what had just happened? So she pops that back into place. Then she goes back in the ring. Liv turns a Riptide into a DDT that looks crazy. Again, Rhea sells that so hard. Rhea gets in the prison lock but can't hold it because her arm's still messed up. And then, that's the DDT. And then, which I really love.
I'm catching up on some stuff along the way.
And the one spot that I really love, that was also almost my Big Nick energy moment of the night, that Liv does this amazing, the crucifix driver into an armbar, which looked so good. So I feel like I don't see that often.
Yeah.
I thought just the way, it was just so liquid how they did it, and then into the armbar. And then
I feel like it's a move that women do better. I don't know why. It's the momentum of their body or something along those lines that they all put their whole like torque into it. I can't explain it.
I think because with the smaller frames, I think it's easier to make it look better when they jump and then kind of curve their body to get up and then over. I think it just works better with a smaller frame.
Also, I mean, when you're small, you can do quicker movements.
Like,
it looks more.
Anyway, I think the move is chef's kiss. But then Rhea gets out of the armbar by, of course, doing a power bomb. And then Liv hits her with her own headbutt, which I loved. I thought it was like, oh, you're gonna hit me, and like I'll hit you back.
Well, that's how like some of these, like I feel like Miz has like has still used the figure four. Like some of them start taking like people like I can't. There's a bunch of people that took their rivals' finisher and then ended up using it for a while.
Yeah.
And like down in their career, but I don't know why I keep thinking that. Anyway, go on.
Anyways, so at this point, Liv rolls out of the ring to get a chair. So she's holding the chair in the ring, and originally Rhea kicks it out of Liv's hands. And then she goes to grab it. Well, she grabs it, and then Dom, Nick shows, grabs it from her, and he's like, no, like, you can't win that way. Like, you hit her, like, which is true, but again, nefarious means he just doesn't want his new bae to get hit with the chair. So he's like, you can't win this way, and takes the chair back from him, and she's like, okay.
Which is always so well done because, yeah, it's the rules. You can't win the title back if you're just, if you get disqualified. So it's just like an opportunistic thing. And everything's been really with this whole storyline has been timely spots, like the whole Liv, like how they worked out Liv falling on top of him like time and time again, and those different scenarios where they'd be together. Like it's good storytelling, great writing.
So Dom gets the chair from her, and then Rhea, of course, Liv kicks Rhea into Dom. Dom goes flying off the top, and of course, then Rhea's in the perfect position. Liv hits an Oblivion. And then Rhea kicks out at 2, and everyone goes wild. Like, the crowd erupts. She starts freaking out that she kicked out of, like, your finisher. So everyone's freaking out. And then, of course, at this point, Dom comes back. And he goes, like he did with how Liv beat Becky, he goes and slides in the chair, and then he jumps up on the other side to get the ref's attention, and then Liv hits another Oblivion onto the chair, and then basically kind of throws the chair out, and then 1, 2, 3.
We have a new. Well, and still.
And still, it's an end still. Second Oblivion. So she hit the one, then hit the second one on the chair. 1, 2, 3, and still. And at this point, Dom is smiling, and you're like, oh no. And then it pans to like kind of Rhea, like kind of like what just happened, and then Liv's on the bottom of the ramp, like kind of like crouching, kneeling, like holding the belt, and then Dom comes over and puts his arms around her and lifts her up and puts the belt on her shoulder, and then they do this like, I guess he kisses her first, then puts the belt on her shoulder, but he like grabs her face and does this really gross, like sloppy kiss.
It's something I try and do to you and you hate.
Ugh, don't. No, no, sloppy. So then they basically walk back up the ramp together, and then you cut back to Rhea in the ring, and there was like fan cam or whatever footage that was like on Twitter X, and she was just basically like, she was mouthing like, you fucked up. So I was like, oh, this is again not over. And then you see her for a second, like she wants to like hold herself and cry, and then she takes like a deep breath, like because she's Rhea Bloody Ripley, and then she stands up. I'm like, get it, girl, you're gonna destroy them. But I just feel like it was just, we knew it was coming. We talked about this last week, but it was just like still kind of sad. I love Rhea, and you're just like this. And then Michael Cole is like yells, "You two-timing son of a bitch!"
I wish I didn't have enough time. I wish I got the audio from it. I should have grabbed the audio from it. It would have been great.
And then Pat yells, "This piece of trash screwed over his dad, and now he's screwed over his mommy." And then they just walk off the ramp. And they're just like, and they did it, and I'm sad. And then it cuts back, and there's whatever, not shenanigans, like promo packages and commercials or whatever Peacock
The
had.
usual.
Yeah. And then it cuts to Jamie and Priest like in the clubhouse, and he's like, where is he? And he grabs Finn, and he's like, did you know? And Finn was like, I can't believe you're asking me that. He's like, answer my question. He's like, no, of course not. And then JD McDonough like kind of pats down like Priest, like, calm down, like we'll go find him. And then Finn and McDonough kind of walk off first, and then Carlito just makes a piece like, and then follows them.
Was that the final straw potentially that set off Finn Balor? Spoiler alert, as we go in and we move along from the craziness that is continuing the Liv Morgan Rhea Ripley storyline, it bleeds into what was later in the night with the Judgment Day, where we saw Damian Priest defending the World Heavyweight Championship against Gunther. So let's take you to that match. And Nikki, your thoughts overall?
I love that match. It's big, meaty men slapping big, meaty meat. And your brother popped over for a little bit yesterday to kind of watch. And I know he doesn't watch remotely. And he was just like, whoa, those are two big guys. We're like, yeah, it's awesome. Like, again, I kept rewatching this. This is probably my favorite match. I think it was just like the choppy choppies, just the heart. It felt stiff AF. And I love this match.
They did a lot of good work. A lot of good work in this match for the two guys that were, I think they're saying that live to you, is like this size, 6 foot, it seems like 6'5", 6'6" or bigger, can do a lot in the ring. And Priest impressive. He can do a lot in the ring. Very physical, back and forth. I feel bad because I feel like the build up to this wasn't anything. It gets overshadowed.
Disagree with you, sir.
By you like the build up to this?
No, when it first got, like, because you knew, like, Gunther winning King of the Ring, you knew it was going to be Priest Gunther, and it was like, all right, well, how are they going to make this? And like the last 2 weeks, when basically Gunther was being like the whole high and mighty forward and heel, like, I have class, I'm sophistication. Let me talk.
Philosophical?
No, I was trying to say sophistication.
Oh.
But he's like, you're street trash. You're a street rat. You're nothing. Your fan base is trash. You're all trash. And it made it so, like, again, go watch those Gunther promos. He made it really personal. And then the last, I don't know if it was the week before or Monday, when they just like that pull apart brawl when they both got up. Adam Pearce sent them both home. remember they brawled in the ring, and then they cut to like Kathy Kelly was interviewing someone, and they're brawling in the background.
Yeah.
I don't. It wasn't the best.
As best as they could, yeah.
No,
maybe.
but it wasn't nothing. Like I think you're being a little too harsh on it. Like, was it the best? No. Have there been better? Have there been worse? But I think again, maybe you didn't need the whole thing. The match was great. It was so just like them just beating the shit out of each other. And sometimes that's what I want. And I don't necessarily. And I know, and I have this debate all the time. But sometimes I don't need a grand story. Like Rhea, Liv, John. Like that's the grand story. Like this just beat the crap out of each other, and it was so hard hitting. And Gunther was bleeding everywhere.
Yeah, I have a shot somewhere.
Like he didn't notice. Like I guess it came up on the hard, like because obviously it's such a big stadium. They have like the screens, and he looked. The people I guess saw him on the screen that he was bleeding, and it's like the crowd was like, and he looked up and he was like, oh. Yeah. And then at another point, he like wiped it off him and like rubbed it through his hair.
Yeah, it's that like ruthless.
Yeah.
Like, which is crazy, the fact that he does it night in and night out.
Yeah, it's just like chop me. At one point, they're chopping each other. Again, there's so much stiff back and forth and chops and kicks and blows. At one point, Pat screams, they're throwing chops through each other's soul. Like how hard, it just felt like you heard it.
Like, again, it's also Gunther's one of the best wrestlers in the world. Mm-hmm. So you're not gonna have a bad match, and Priest is very athletic and good.
Yeah. Honestly, I think of his reign, or maybe in WWE, I think this is Damian Priest's best match. I think this is the best match he's ever had, and I think out of his title,
better than the Rollins one.
Yeah, I would take this over the Rollins one. Again, maybe because the mess up.
He might have got overshadowed because of the Rollins, because of the cash-in situation that took away from the match. So I kind of.
What do you mean the cash-in?
Because the Priest Rollins match, they were waiting for McIntyre to cash in, so the whole like first half of that match was
maybe. But I think in the defeat, and then when we get to the Finn Balor thing, I still think Priest looked pretty strong. He hit South of Heaven twice. He hit the Razor's Edge, like the kicks and the chops. Like Gunther's bleeding. Like I don't think. Again, I think his reign is underrated. I think hopefully people look back on it at one point and enjoy it. I think he's still like he'll get the belt again at some point. I don't think he looks terrible in defeat. Not even with the Finn interference of putting the boot on the rope. I still think he looked great. I still think they had an incredible match, and I think him just like passing out.
Yeah, no, he definitely looks strong.
He's still strong in defeat.
So. Well, let's get to it. You kind of tipped the hand. So we get to the climax of the match. Finn Balor shows up, and you can see Priest, after what transpired in the back and what previously transpired already over the night, visibly concerned with Balor showing up.
So Balor is actually wearing a Damian Priest shirt. He has.
I know. I thought that
Priest has Judgment Day shirts with the Puerto Rican flag like through it. So he's wearing that shirt, but he comes out and he's like, bang, and he's like, yeah, you're gonna do great. You're like, go. And when he came out, like Gunther was like beating him, like he was the dominant one. So seeing Finn out, he kind of like hulks up and he does 2 big clotheslines, hits the Razor's Edge, hits South of Heaven, and then he goes to pin, and then Finn puts up the boot. So the ref calls it off, and he was like, "Oh, it's his foot on the rope," and Damien kind of looked confused, like what? And then they showed the replay, and then Damien sees the replay on the screen, seeing his best friend, his brother, put his boot up, and at that point, Finn is like has his back to him. He's like what? Huh? And then Finn turns around and has like this most like he looked and he's like, whoa. Like,
which is crazy because like I don't know, I think that's more of a like a nuance to like how like right, it's sports entertainment, like how athletes like what WWE's mirrored the last 10-15 years is like the NFL and the athletes, and like a lot of the athletes, like that's what they do, they look at the big screen and stuff like that, like even as they're competing sometimes to see like I've seen like NFL players like the cornerback, they get an interception, they go 60 yards the other way and they're looking at the big screen to see if anyone's behind them so they don't slow down. Like it's just an interesting little concept that like now they're smartening up, like the wrestlers are smartening up to everything, and that's what I appreciate about the booking the last, I guess, under Triple H's regime in the last year and a half, is that it's just smarter wrestlers that are on top of this stuff, and it furthers the storyline.
So at this point, then he tries to go after Finn, and then Gunther grabs him and like chokes him, and then kind of Priest kind of hulks up again, and again tries to go after Finn. Then Gunther gets him again in the choke. The referee does the thing, calls it.
And new
which again,
world heavyweight champion.
I'm glad, because I feel like the Gunther and them with Randy Orton, that felt weird. Like, I didn't want a weird roll up pin thing. Like, just have him choke somebody out. And then he basically, because the referee's looking at Damian Priest, he grabs the belt and puts it on himself, which I like. And then basically he poses in the ring, and then he goes out and he kisses Jenny, which is his wife, who used to be a wrestler. She retired when she got preggers a year or two ago at this point. And then he stands on top, because I don't know if you were watching, that he has like a feud, not like a feud, but him and Pat don't get along. So he stands like on top of the announce table with the belt.
So we wanted to see Gunther become champion, right? We get his moment. He was king of the ring. Actually, well, spoiler alert, both king and queen of the ring end up completing their proverbial storylines as well. So my question is, just to close, well, if you have more.
I was just going to say R.I.P. Judgment Day.
Yeah, all right, yeah. I mean,
I think that's opening Monday Night Raw. Like,
what if Finn like has a new Judgment Day, just renames it and brings in somebody else?
Yeah, like, it's just like, I assume Finn, JD, and Liv, and then obviously Priest and Rhea are going to be together, and I think Carlito is going to go that way. But were you saying something else before that? Before I said R.I.P. Judgment Day?
No, well, the only other question I have about this whole, like, to put a little bow in, is this betrayal segment of our show. What was the bigger betrayal? Was it Finn or Finn Balor to his buddy Damian Priest, his good friend, or was it Dom Mysterio to his mommy, Liv Morgan?
Honestly thinking, I think brother betraying brother. You're my best friend. You're supposed to have my back, and I lost my belt. That like, again, their documentary thing. The 24 documentary that comes out tomorrow. I think, because again, like, love comes and goes, and you're gonna get hurt by people that way. But I just feel like it's you're my brother. You're my best friend, and for you to cost me my title, I feel like hurts more.
Well, in Finn's eyes, I guess he needed him all along.
Well, that was the thing, because he was
justified.
I think it started with the promos going into the staff match, and he was like, I don't need, like, again, he's like, I don't need Judgment Day, and that was the tip. If you lose, you leave Judgment Day. And he's like, yeah, doing it. Like, well, I thought we were good. So I guess I get Finn's kind of thing. Like, you almost threw away our whole stable for the belt. But again, it's the belt.
It's a World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm team Priest and Rhea in this stitch.
I don't know. We want to hear from all you. Let us know, what was the bigger betrayal? See, for me, I think it's Dom, because he owes everything to Rhea. Rhea got him. Like, he won the North American title, which is only tag. Well, he won tags with Ray, but I guess
he hasn't had. He just had the North American. It was just a North American.
But his only singles run and
was it Rhea?
Is due to her. So I don't know. It's kind of an interesting.
Like, her corrupting him way back when. Remember they showed up to Rey Mysterio's.
Murdoch's gonna come in. You don't think Gunther opens door? I think I agree with you. No. I think he does, because of the fact that, like, well, I don't know.
Does he open hour 2? Because now I'm thinking, who's going after Gunther? Like, what's Gunther's next? I think Priest is going to move on. I think there's not going to be like a rematch thing.
Yeah, he says new champion.
No,
Yeah, I mean it's a great
could.
point, but I mean I think it depends on the storyline and what's the hottest storyline. What's the bigger? They're gonna go with what's the bigger draw in the ratings.
There's also a rumor going around that when John Cena comes back, they want him to go into a program with Gunther. So it's just kind of like the Cody Rhodes thing. Is he's just gonna have these little one-off little feuds and matches till something big comes. So like in January or like maybe Mania, Gunther Cena at Mania. What? I don't know.
He needs to face Cena. That's a match that
I
needs
feel
to
like
happen.
that's the thing that Triple H needs to figure out. Because like what I said, do you want a match or do you want story? And if he's like, this is your new guy, and is he gonna push Gunther as hard as he did with the IC belt? Like, is he about to go on a tear for another couple years? Or do you go with, again, your women's champion retaining her revenge tour complete? She's got her new man. Or
yeah, I mean, it could be
I don't
like
know.
I keep thinking about. We were talking about the Edge Lita, live sex show thing, and they're going very much. It's been a very risque show the last couple months, and as they go towards the Netflix era, I envision it being similar, moving forward. So
again, I won't, because I really love Gunther too, and I've been since King of the Ring, before King of the Ring. I don't know. I feel like it can go either way. If they open with Gunther, like, I don't think I'd be mad at it. Like, I wouldn't be mad at it. But I don't know. I feel like her coming out and being like her, like, maniacal laugh, like, oh, like my revenge tour, I got my belt, I got your man. Like, F you.
Yeah,
I told you I was taking everything. I have your belt, I have your man, and what?
Yeah, it'd be a hot start. I mean, like Rhea opening the show, just like seething. Because she who's the biggest star? Who's the biggest star? Rhea could be the biggest storyline on Raw right now. The biggest star, like they're a bigger star than Gunther. As much as I love Gunther, like I think Rhea's the biggest star.
Things like you took the words right out of my mouth, babe. That like as much as we love Gunther,
Lisa, the Tom lived to his live sex show, I will never eat again.
I don't know. I just think start.
It's gonna be interesting.
I just think you start Raw off with the two, because the booze. Dom is gonna walk out or with either her arm, like holding Liv, and the booze for days. It reminds me of WrestleMania, blah blah blah. When Roman beat Undertaker and he came out and stood in the ring for like 6 minutes, and they just booed or whatever.
Yeah,
and
it's my yard now.
My yard now, and left. Like, I want them to just like come out, just boo boo boo, and just say something dumb or just make out and then leave. Like, I don't know. Sometimes I just want to watch the world burn.
Yeah, I could totally, because again, like I just think that it's the biggest draw, right? It's a bigger draw right now than Gunther. As much as great as Gunther is, like his storylines, other than being the best wrestler in the world,
because we're getting there, but like Braun having the IC belt, and I think he's going to be in a program with Ilya Dragunov. I don't know, and then I still think like Punk, Drew, Seth is still doing their stuff over there. I don't know who the number one contender is for Gunther, and that's what's going to happen tomorrow. Like, is there going to be like a battle royal or some tournament? Like, who goes after Gunther?
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm so excited he won the belt, but I just don't think there's nothing kind of lined up as of now for him to open. As much as he's the new champion, I love it.
It's going to be interesting to see who his next challenger is.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments. Who do you think Gunther's next challenger should be for the World Heavyweight title?
Honestly, don't even know.
At this point, I mean, I think it's going to be, the three main event guys, right? Punk, Rollins, and McIntyre are all in a feud together. So that's the next logical, like, easy main event person.
Triple threat at Bad Blood by Bertha.
Could AJ Styles go to Raw and challenge him?
We haven't seen
it. As a hot, because he's been in New Japan or wherever, not Japan, in Japan, or traveling around.
Noah.
So I think it's a possibility that could legitimately happen.
Could they move AJ to again, but then AJ's just this filler now. Like Cody needed a filler feud, and now Gunther needs a filler feud. I don't know. I think Kaiser's still injured. I think he did something with his knee or whatever. But I also want Kaiser on SmackDown.
I know you love wrestling couples.
I love wrestling
together.
Ludwig Kaiser and Chippy are together.
So
And they're on different brands. It makes me sad all
if you also love wrestling couples, hit the like button. If you don't love wrestling couples, hit the like button as well. So let's go into the mid card where we see 4. Count.
What's
4?
We're talking about 3. We already talked about 1.
Well, yeah, but we've seen 4 in total. We see 4 new champions crowned, but we'll talk. We already talked about 1 with Gunther.
I ruined your segment. Sorry.
So my segue, not my segment.
I ruined everything.
Not like the thing you write around it, but the segue to the new segment is that 4 new champions were crowned, but here is the rest of the title changes that happened last night on SummerSlam. We start with the Intercontinental title, where Bron Breakker is now claiming his first singles title on the main roster. Nikki, your thoughts and takeaways from this match?
It was quick. I literally, like, my notes, because how I do it, it's like 6 sentences, which everyone else I have like a ton. But basically it starts off, he charges, and then Sammy does this beautiful like leapfrog over him, and he goes straight into the ring post. And then Sammy does his usual dive, and then like clothesline into the corner. Then like Braun avoids a halupa kick and does this beautiful, which again I feel like he's doing this every match, and that's why it's not our Big Nick energy moment. But I love he just did the huge jump from the mat to the thing, Frankensteiner. It's so good. And again, I know you want it to be his finisher, and he has to do it with someone that can sell it amazing. And then Sammy just took it.
It's not that I don't know anymore that I want it because of this reason. I don't know. Like, first off, I get it. Why does every football player have to have the spear as a finisher? And that drives me crazy. I don't like. He does the spear better than 90 because he's a football player. He does 90.
Yeah.
So
Jay's shitty little ones.
Yeah, you hate Jay. I don't think Jay does better, but I just think it's overused. It's an overused move. I don't know. I had a point, and then we were talking about spears, and it threw me off.
I don't know. Well, I said he did an amazing.
Oh yes, the move. So I just want him to have like, because in NXT he had that press slam, which was I call it the Goldberg move because I saw Goldberg do it first. I remember Goldberg. I don't know if he definitely wasn't the first to do it. Let's be honest, but it's the gorilla press slam into a power slam. Like he drops you on his shoulders, and then he did that as a finisher in NXT, and I hated it because it's too long of a move to happen, and you can't do it on a bigger guy. You need a move that you could just hit out of nowhere. So which is where the spear comes in. But I don't know. Like that's why I like the Frankenstein, because it's something athletic, it's something different than he does as a bigger power guy. Might bring that out. I don't know. I think Braun could do with a better finisher. But that's just me on my soapbox. I like these power guys, like the F5 is like a dynamic move for a big guy to do. I like when I think about like Undertaker doing the tombstone, it's more of a power. Like you can do it on a bigger guy, and when he hits it, it's more impactful. Like like the spear is just like anyone can run into anybody. Like Monty Brown used the pounce, which I thought was and what's his name uses it for. I almost called them Private Party. They're not Private Party. Street Profits. Dawkins, yeah, and I think it's the dumbest move. The pounce is the dumbest move.
If you're talking, don't you forget about Keith. Keith Lee does a good pounce.
Oh, well, Murdoch agrees with you. Jay has the worst spear
it's
ever.
the worst, honey. It's so bad. Like it's just like he looks like a little like potato. I don't know.
Is it because he's like he's not scrawny though? He's not like a
not. I don't know. You just want like a spear. I just want and done and down. But so he does the Frankensteiner. Sammy kicks out at 2. Then Sammy hits the blue thunder bomb. Braun kicks out. Then he does the exploder into the turnbuckle. Then Sammy goes on the other side. He's gearing up to the haluva. Braun counters and spears him in the middle of the ring, which again he has a great spear. Then he does his little run this rope, run that rope spear. 1, 2, 3, and I'm like.
He needed to do it like 17 more times. Like, first off, because sorry to interrupt you.
No, baby.
Love you very much, but I'm interrupting you because I'm on my soapbox, and because he's very passionate about this thing. They time him, or not time him, clock him with the speedometer.
Yeah.
About how many times he goes back and forth at like 20 miles an hour and how fast he is, blah blah blah. So the fact that he only did it twice, like maybe he's trying to hit it quicker because, and in some aspect, maybe you're giving a little bit more respect to Sammy by hitting it quicker because, like, all right, I'm not gonna like wait for him to maybe give it an opportunity to counter it. But to me, he's got to do a full run, like something crazy, especially after the Money in the Bank match that they had, which was phenomenal. It was great for them both. I think it put them like.
Longer the better.
Yeah, and it looked really bad. I wonder how much of this had to do with time constraints to the pay-per-view.
The second match, that's what it's like. This is what I wanted to happen. I called it for like 2 pay-per-views now. Braun needs to be IC champ for sure. Give him a good reign. I'm excited for all the matches. I said that last 2 days ago. But that felt so quick, and it's just like Sammy beat Gunther 666-day reign. And then Braun just kind of plows through him with 2 moves.
Sorry. Steven said Justin Timberlake had the worst spears.
Steven, how dare you? Britney Spears is now.
And Murdoch agrees with Steven.
I will not have Britney besmirched on my podcast. I'm sorry, sir. How dare you?
Well,
free Britney forever.
Letitia, I apologize. I don't know how to pronounce it. Roman Reigns is back. I don't know if that's a comment on Roman Reigns' spear, but. Welcome to the party.
Get to that spear.
We will get to that.
But Steven, how dare you?
That was a great.
But I just felt like it was like, and then Gunther had this great match with Damian Priest. I was like, something is not gelling in my brain. And I know Sammy's gonna go off and do bloodline things. I know Bron Breakker's gonna go off and have amazing matches with Ilya and all this stuff. But I don't. This is what I wanted to happen, but it's not. I don't like how it happened, if that makes sense.
I consider this a squash match, even though it was apparently like lasted like more than 5 minutes. But again, does that make Braun look more dominant? I don't know. Like, does he like because of everything like the beatings that Sammy can take? Does Braun look more dominant?
Is Sammy injured? Is he like with Braun? Well, I don't think if Braun was injured, you put the belt on him. But like, is something else afoot? Again, this is the second match of the night. Like, you shouldn't have time constraints already. But like, hey, we're gonna cut 10% of your match. Like, I like they did it to the Usos, and that's why everyone shits on that match at Mania. But I don't know. There's something that was just felt like too quick.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure.
That's the first thing I said to you last night, and I was like, well, that was abrupt.
Yeah, like because
yeah,
like we both correctly predicted this match, but it was just kind of the biggest takeaway I had from this match was I don't know why. I think they definitely were doing it in the first match, but the like stat takeaways, like 6'1", 210 pounds, and they started doing like the little side bars. I really enjoyed that. But
Well, first of all, Sami Zayn's first SummerSlam? How? Also,
yeah, it's pretty crazy.
excuse me, we'll get there. Nia Jax's first SummerSlam. Like, how are you in a company for like 10 years and not be on SummerSlam? But like, it's just crazy. How is Sami Zayn, who was multiple tag, IC, all this or tag? Yeah, like, how is this his first SummerSlam?
Yeah, it is pretty crazy. When you think about it, because he's been
And
around like
also
6 years.
had like Steven, our stat guy, what 2015, 2016 he was in NXT, so like 2017, 2018 he's on main, so 6 years because we'll be together
24,
6 years in a week.
In a week.
Well, technically our
Oh yes, July. Yeah, August. Yes.
Well, it depends what date you want to acknowledge, sir.
Acknowledge it.
Acknowledge me.
Acknowledge it.
Anyways,
Well, regardless, so we move on to title change. Our title change 3 of the show, but another mid card title where LA Knight falls, and I thought perhaps he wouldn't. This is where we differed. This is one of the many picks that we differed on this whole evening.
I said if LA Knight did not win this match, he needs to go home. Like my thoughts on Logan Paul aside, but Jesus Christ.
Logan Knight. LA Paul.
LA Paul. Oh my God, let's call your brother that. But LA Knight needed to win this match, and everything. This is all. Probably my second favorite match of the night. Like rewatching it this morning. Everything that LA Knight did, I was like, I told Nick, I think instead of having a spot, like LA Knight's my big Nick energy person of the pay-per-view. I love that it started off and they brawled for what 5 to 7 minutes.
Yeah, they started off in like outside the ring, which I think that's in as much as like everyone hates him, I get it. But like Logan Paul is a student of the game. Like he started the match out, like he knows he really loves it.
Again.
And like personal feelings aside, like there's a lot of garbage people or whatever you feel like in the industry, in any industry.
Mm-hmm.
But when you talk about pure ability, he's unbelievable.
Yeah, that's why I said that to you all the time. Like I have to separate the person that like we say about fucking Kane and Glenn Jacobs. Like Kane the wrestler is phenomenal. Glenn Jacobs the person POS. But again, it was such a fun match. It's a great match, and again, Logan Paul is incredible in the ring. But I'm just so glad LA Knight won. And rewatching the match this morning, like I could not take my eyes off LA Knight. Like I think again the neck breaker onto the announce table when I don't know if just get all my stuff out now. And at one point he's on the second rope and jumps to the third rope and then hits an elbow drop, which I thought was incredible. And then he did was supposed to be, I don't know if it was a delay, the superplex or a neck breaker or like a brain buster. I don't know if Logan Paul should have extended himself more, but that looked gnarly. Like anything LA Knight did in this match. There we go. Because I think which
really, like we were watching, we're like, ugh.
Yeah, that's what we said we didn't know. Like, is he scrunched because he's supposed to take the brain buster, or he didn't extend his legs like he's taking the superplex? Like, I don't think Logan necessarily was where he was supposed to be, but it still looked gnarly. It still looked amazing. Like anything LA Knight did in this match, chef kiss to moi.
Yeah, I mean both of them. I mean there's a lot of great spots. So this spot in particular was pretty crazy, and I know you're a big fan of LA Knight for the whole match. So
I've been an LA Knight fan, pre LA Knight, like Eli Drake in TNA. Like I had my eyeballs on him for a little while before he became LA Knight, Max Dupree, whatever the fuck you want to call him. Sean, and I think pretty sure his real name's Sean. But
so Nikki, is this your Big Nick energy moment of the night, or is it just all LA Knight? I know
Everything
you like
LA Knight, but this spot, mark it.
mark it, stamp
Get
it.
Two kids here. Obviously, we're both named Nick, and how it rhymes with some things. So our big Nick energy moment of the pay-per-view, we put our stamp of approval, and mine is anything LA Knight. I think this superplex, brainbuster, whatever you want to call it, chef's kiss.
Yes, for all the newcomers here, please, if you're new to the party, please hit the old like and subscribe. We love having you. We want to hear from all you. If you feel like chiming in, type it in the chat. If you feel like calling in, there is a link to call in. So we open up the phone lines shortly after we get through our spiel here and recap everything. We want to hear from all you. So, again, this was your Big Nick energy. And there's also another spot in this match where he does an acai moonsault, sorry, Logan Paul does a 360, or 180. Sorry, not 360, 360.
Everyone's called it something different, and I just don't know what to call it.
It's a moonsault.
Well, it is, but it's a twisting because he jumped on the ropes different, and then I don't know, it's crazy. And again, I thought this should be someone's Big Nick energy moment, but again, separating the thing and the thing, it could not be. So I nominated LA Knight. But again,
Lisa agrees with you about the off the top rope suplex or whatever it was.
Yeah, I don't give a shit what you call it.
The off the top rope fall.
The Jackson driver, it's amazing.
Don't say his name.
Our dog's name is Jackson. But
he sleeps next to us while we do the show.
But again, I just think this was just and there's no downtime. Again, the springboard, acai moonsault, twisty thing, whatever you want to call it, and then LA hits. Jesus Christ, Logan hits LA with his knockout punch because he has the steel titanium plate in his arm. Kicks out of that. Then the superplex brainbuster thing happens, and then of course, Logan has to go to his little cronies. Again, he also walked out. We skipped over that. He walked out with MGK, Machine Gun Kelly.
Oh yes, which was a big part of it. Which I thought
Again, he's
he'd
also
be
from
a face.
Cleveland.
I thought MGK would turn on him because he's pretty well liked. I like him.
Last time we saw MGK, he got power bombed by a heel KO. So you think he'd come back as a face, but on Friday he's like, I'm gonna call Mr. Cleveland. I was like, who called MJ
Mr. Cleveland.
Machine Gun Kelly Mr. Cleveland? But all the Cleveland boys were out. But Machine Gun Kelly gives him the brass knuckle thing because of course. And this is when it just this match also kind of ends quickly because he rakes LA Knight's eyes, then he gets the knuckles. Well, he rakes his eyes, then LA does his flying baseball slide out, so he doesn't get them. Then he beats up the Prime goons, and then Logan comes to save the day and throws LA back into the ring, and that's when MGK gives him the knocks. And then at one point, he was trying to get him back in the ring, and Logan hits him with the knocks, but then LA gets him into the ring, he's back in the ring, then Logan's gearing up to hit the buckshot, and I hate it so much, because if you don't know, I am a huge Hangman and a Page fan, so him doing the buckshot makes me angry. So he's gearing up, he does the flip in to hit the buckshot, and then LA turns it into a BFT, the blunt force trauma, 1, 2, 3, and new. So he got hit with the knocks, but then because it takes because when you're doing the box shot, you wait because the person's supposed to be standing. So I guess he's on the ring apron enough to wait for LA to stand up, and then he's just all right. Again, I wanted this to happen. I wanted LA to have this. He needed this moment. I just think it was only getting hit with the nuts and then hit one BFT and then champ.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm being nitpicky here. Again, I love LA Knight. I wanted him to have his belt. I wanted him to do this thing.
You wanted him to hit him 7 BFTs.
I want hit.
Which also, maybe unpopular opinion, I think the BFT is kind of a dumb move.
It's not. It reminds me of Bailey's rose plant. Like it's
Actually, it
not
reminds.
like,
I think Bailey's Rose Plant is
I
better.
don't like the rose.
Bailey's
plant.
Rose Plant to me reminds me more of Seth Rollins' knee curb stomp than it. I'm reminded more with the BFT. I'm reminded more of remember Dean Ambrose's stupid bulldog finisher that also EC3 used.
I don't like you using any of those two names. And
John Moxley is. His
I know.
name.
I don't like you saying. You know my affinity for Dean Ambrose, John Moxley. How dare you?
But I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm not a
I
big
don't
fan
think
of
it's
this
a
move.
strong. I don't remember his finisher in TNA, to be honest.
Yeah, Murdoch says I like Hemming without the mustache. I hate him with the mustache.
Oh,
Yeah, me too.
honey,
Me
honey.
too. Agreed.
Coming into our little world, I am all things facial hair, and if he shaves off his mustache, I will be devastated.
And I want to put you on close up for that.
Also, when Nick and I first started dating 6 years ago, he just started growing this, and I said, if me and you are going to be together, you're never allowed to shave off your facial hair ever again in the history of ever. So Nick has had this beard for 6 years because if I meet you with facial hair and you shave off your facial hair, it very much upsets me.
Yes. Very, very, very exciting. So
Even if he doesn't,
stop.
if he gets rid of the mustache but still has that 5 o'clock shadow, like Nick and
I feel like this is a good way for us to get sponsors for like the
I feel
beard
like
trimming.
like
group.
Hims or like beard.
That would probably go a long
What's
way.
that? Not what's it? They have the mower 2.0. I hear it on podcast.
No, Manscaped?
Yeah, there you go.
Manscaped.
Yeah, just trim out your shit because Nicole will have a meltdown if you shave any of your facial hair off. But if he shaves off the mustache but still keeps the 5 o'clock shadow, like again, like Nick and I got engaged on the second Jericho cruise, and we met Hangman Page, and he had that 5 o'clock shadow. So maybe not necessarily the mustache, but you need to keep. This is me going on. I digress hard.
I know we took you
But
off.
I like me and facial hair. It's a thing. It's like
Well, Murdoch, you hooked Murdoch. Full beard is good, stubble is good, but mustache just by itself is aggravating. Yes, it is. It is. Agreed.
Again,
Agreed. I can never do it.
I
can
can't
never
really
do it.
comment on that statement.
Maybe like Dirty Dom's got the mustache. He's
No,
got the mustache.
Got the mustache that his mustache doesn't count.
Well, let's.
Move on, see her.
I don't know how we got there, but we got here. We get to our fourth title change of the evening, but our third title change in the segment. Nia Jax is now the new, not only is she queen of the ring, but she's also the new women's champion. WWE.
She's WWE, yes.
I'm going to do this all of them. If you're new to the show, I do this every show.
WWE, Raw is World.
So, Nikki, your thoughts on Nia Jax?
So, Lord, not that I'm eating crow here.
Yeah, case in point, Dom is the worst. Yes, with the mustache. Yes.
I predicted Nia to win. I know I've said some things about Nia on this podcast previously.
Hold on. I don't have a new one, but
Yes, queen.
I think Nia of old is gone.
the unsafe, the one that you.
Oh yeah, she's like,
claim-
oh, I'm reckless. Oh, I'm reckless.
She.
It's hard because I love Bailey. I predicted Bailey to win Royal Rumble. She had an incredible match with Io. We also have a cat that's probably destroying the upstairs. I named her Bailey. But I think the writing was on the wall again. Nia winning the queen of the ring. Sorry, her kind of being on this dominant run. She started off this match super dominant. She gave Bailey a sting face.
Mm.
And it's just like, I don't know, she looked super, I don't say super dominant because I think it was a good back and forth exchange. And as much as I love Bailey, I don't think this run post Mania has been necessarily good for her.
No, I agree. I thought this is where we differ. I thought Bailey was going to win this match because she needed the win. And it looked really, really poor that she didn't get the win on this. Because Bailey needed, she's a good baby, and there's a lot of moments in this match that we forget how good she is. Like she's the part of the Four Horsemen. Like she's so good. Like underrated is not a good enough word to describe what Bailey can do. Like, and you know, she has that moment in this match where she shows you just so many layers to like she was in Damage Control and now she's on her own. Like it's just different elements of, like she could do it with a group, she could do it by herself. Like she keeps you interested in her storylines. And I think this got underrated in a lot of ways because of everything else that was booked into this card. But she's such a phenomenal talent, and like she's so good, and everything like fluid in the ring, and she's a student of the game, and like this moment to me, like you forget how good the power bomb that she had, and it wasn't like take note of just where she is in the ring. She's halfway across the ring, and it wasn't.
She took 5 steps.
Yeah, she literally walks her across. It's like Bianca Belair type feats or Jade Cargill like strength that you never see out of Bayley or is never accentuated to an extent. That to me, she just took such a whole other level of that's what she is, and she's so underrated, and like that's why I wanted her to get this win in the worst way. And this to me, this power bomb, you had your moment. This is my Big Nick energy moment of the night.
I think again, I agree with you. Incredible spot. I think the problem is not necessarily that the women's side of SmackDown is stacked, but you do have Bianca and Jade and what they're doing in the tag division. I think Jade, as much as unpopular opinion, I do love Bianca. They have so much going on, and then with them and like Isla Dawn and Alba Fire coming in, and that's going on. You have Chelsea Green and Pepper Niven on there. I think they're so, and then you have Tiffy and Nia, and I love Tiff so hard.
Well, that storyline. So kind of going back to it, that storyline was kind of played up in this. They talked about it in a backstage interview before the match. In this match, it played a pivotal role.
I just think that with mentioning all those people, and especially now with Nia and Tiffy together as a thing, Bayley just seems so quiet. Between like Bianca being so loud, Jay being so loud, Nia, Tiffy, the tag champions, I feel like there's not her being now this face, but still has her old heel stuff, and I hate her new entrance music.
Yeah.
But then I realized her Trunks a role model again. Like, didn't she like drop that for a while when she was with?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, yeah.
I feel like Bayley.
Role model was her heel gimmick that really got her. I think got her.
Yeah, when she was doing Ding Dong Hello.
Yeah.
I feel like her doing maybe Damage Control should have ended earlier than it did.
Perhaps.
And I don't know, like maybe Bayley should have killed it, not Dakota Kai. Again, do something with Dakota Kai.
Murdoch's got some theories on it. He said the steps to the ring, the middle of the ring was intentional to display her strength. It's impressive. Yeah, she's phenomenal. Lisa's got a comment. I can't wait for Tiffy to cash in on the Money in the Bank.
I think that will happen. I think it's gonna be a little bit because
Is there a no queen that I can get? I can get a soundbite of a no queen. Like yes
no,
queen.
no one wants a yes queen. Always say yes to your queen. It's a queendom where the kings bow down.
I should. I will find a drop for that.
No. I don't know. I think unfortunately what it needed to be. Honestly, I think Nia and Tiffy will have this weird thing. I guess maybe they'll run it back between her and Bayley. But I don't really know where this goes for Bayley. I kind of think she might need another changeroo. I don't think there's enough of a difference between Bayley Damage Control and this face Bayley. And like you shaved your head a little bit, but like there's not enough. Could
Bayley end up on Raw as a Liv Morgan challenger? Well, no, sorry, not Liv Morgan. Sorry, never mind.
No,
like could she end up maybe like down the line after the Rhea storyline, like to keep Liv hot? I don't know. Does Liv? Liv probably drops the belt to Rhea, but like
I think Liv dropped it. In my brain, Liv dropped it to Rhea back at Mania. So let's get another couple.
Well, Murdoch agrees with you. When did Bailey ever have that type of aura, though?
I don't. Damn, it's so hard. I don't. Again, we named our cat Bailey after 2016 Bailey, who was the NXT Women's Champion back then. I love that she finally like shook off the John Cena-ness of her and cut her hair and cut the buddies and did something. I think her in the lockdown era of her fighting with fucking Michael Cole, I think that was incredible. I thought it was fun that she brought like Dakota and Io from NXT. Like, these are gonna be my girls. We'll do a faction, but they did jack shit with them. They lost all the time on SmackDown. There was
they were her cronies. That they were their
nothing
enhancement talent for her.
Again, that's the thing.
To some
If you're
extent.
gonna build up a faction, you have to have the faction win. If you you put these
Well, they won the
people
tag titles
together.
for a while, so they kind of. I feel like, but again, who's to say about those?
But again, if you think what he said is like, then rank the 4 horsewomen. Like, is Bailey 4? To me, Sasha's 4. I think it's, to me.
Well, are we looking
at
at WWE stats? Or are we looking at like
I get
in WWE? Then I'd probably if we're looking at just
like Sasha's doing so great in AEW.
yeah. I mean, well, I mean,
to
you
me,
can add a belt.
it's in my brain, in my feelings, my heart. It's Becky, Charlotte, Bailey, Sasha.
I could.
I
Yeah.
would have said that before she fucked. Oh, I hate when you do
I
that.
know. Sorry.
Before
one.
she, fucked off to the Indies.
I don't know. I could see it being. Yeah. It's a tough question. Like. Yeah, because Charlotte, Becky are the top 2. So. I don't know. Good question. I don't know. How do you all rank? Nikki just throwing it out there. How do you all rank the 4 horsewomen? Because that's a real thing.
Becky's always been my girl. Irish people gotta stick
Yeah,
together.
Murdoch said their NXT girl. Well, he's talking about Damage Control, but their NXT girls paired with Bailey to give them instant credibility and success. Yeah.
Agreed. But did they get any? Like, I know they were tag champions and Io got the Money in the Bank and won. But I wanted more. Like, Io's heel NXT run was incredible. And she came up and like they changed, like, all of a sudden she can't talk, and I just hate when they bring people up. I know it's a weird thing that like your gimmick in NXT will not necessarily be your gimmick on main, but it's like you take it, like you make her. She's like to me she was like the female Tajiri. Like, she just like made these faces and did these things, and it's just like, but that's not what she.
He made Murdoch I mean, she was the champ. She did make the champ. I mean, I don't know. It did elevate. She got the champion, and then they did get the women's tag titles, so they did get belts. But again. But if it's like, it's kind of like we talk about this, Murdoch, and we hope you come back next Friday at 6 Eastern, whatever that is for you. We talk about like AEW a lot as well, and it's one of those things like, does the belt make you relevant? When you have so many belts, like again, the women's tag, they haven't done much. They could have done so much more with Jade and Bianca that they didn't do. So like, is it just another belt? Like, yeah, like they won, technically they won titles. Like Io did win the women's title on Raw, so she had it for a while, but that was part of that storyline. I don't know. It's a good, like, there's a lot. I think with this a lot. There's a lot of people that like have a lot of title reigns, but does that mean that does that diminish some of them? Because like if you have 8, 10 title reigns, but I can only remember 1 or 2 of certain people,
right,
that have been multiple, like Ric Flair's like. There's so many, at least WWE ones. Like, I don't know. Like, I remember the '92 one. Like there's so many. Like, he is 16 around, but like, which one stands out to you the most about like certain people?
What they did with Charlotte and Sasha, that they hot potatoed that belt back and forth. Like, Sasha would win it, but couldn't hold it the next pay-per-view. It was like back and forth, and like, does that make it not? I don't know. To me, I'm like, all right, well, you can't defend it.
Oh, Murdoch's got so much. Murdoch,
girl,
hang in there.
Get on this call.
Get on the phone lines. We got one more segment to get through, our main event. Actually, that's a perfect segue. Let's give it. Let's get into it. So, our main event of the evening, if you clicked on the thumbnail and you're new here, welcome in. Hit the old like and subscribe. We appreciate you. This is our main event of the evening. Ladies and gentlemen, Roman Reigns, the Tribal Chief, the OTC, has returned. Let's catch you up on how we got there. Ladies and
Girl.
gentlemen, the tribal chief has
Put your
returned.
motherfucking ones up in the air.
Nikki.
Oh, so let's take it from the top because there's some little fun things. So in the pre-show, Cody Rhodes has said that Pharaoh is turning 13, and this will be his last pay-per-view PLE entrance. And I was like, oh my god. So he was doing the walkout with Pharaoh. So he left, and again, what Nick said before, those beautiful shots of them like walking to the entrance. So Cody has Pharaoh, and he's walking through the back from his bus, and then a wild Arn Anderson appears, and he was just like, he said there's 5 crazy Islanders. I'm like, oh, that want to take this belt off you. Like,
Week
don't-
5? Who's the 5th?
No, I'm pretty sure he said 5. Did he say 4? I thought he said 5. Anyway, he said Islanders are after you, which feels icky. But he was like, he's like, I got some pull. I got some people. Like, we're going to help you out. And it's like, all right, get your Glock out. Let's go. So then he walks further into the back and he hands Pharaoh off to somebody and takes off his sweatshirt. And then his mother-in-law puts on his jacket, his Homelander jacket.
Mm.
Then he walks out into Gorilla, and then the guy puts the mask on, and he's like, he's so goddamn Triple H, I can't even handle it. Like, let's do a bigger skull and a bigger crown. So he walks out with this like immaculate sort of deal, and then walks into the ring, huge jacket. He's so Triple H. So they finally, then Samantha Irvine does.
Which is I mean, it says a lot about, like, again, his respect for, like, he always, even like with the whole throne thing in AEW,
Yeah,
he always
he
said
said
like
he's
he had a lot of respect
Oh,
for.
like he's my favorite show, I guess. But it's just so funny to me.
Yeah, I just really like like him back. Like, you could tell under the new regime, or maybe like under the parameters when he originally came back, like he changed. Like, he's allowed to be himself. Like I said this when when we saw that Seth Rollins match, I was like, the star he was born to be. Like,
Oh, 100%.
and it was just like he got so
that Mania thing when he came out of his Cody Vader and just fucking popped up. You're like, this is what you're supposed to be, dude. Like, 100%. So basically, they get in the ring. It's a little like stare down, blah blah blah, and then of course Cody drops down to do the Goldust slap, and then Solo grabs it. And then I made a comment in my notes. I was like, I miss Solo's big hair. I miss when he had that big like mohawk thing. But I digress. And it's like a lot of back and forth, and it's a lot of grandstanding because every time Solo hits Cody, he puts up at the one. He says, "Acknowledge me." He does the belt, like he wants the belt, and like Pat makes a note that he's like, "Oh, he's really trying to get this crowd to acknowledge him." So I think that's obviously what's coming up first. And then also he blocked the scoop slam. So it was like Solo just watched Goldust matches because he's again still for the best. You're supposed to make it better, but so he stopped the slap, he stopped the scoop slam, and hits him with the big. And maybe I also made a comment. There was way too many Samoa drops and Cody cutters in this match. That I'm like, maybe because for a while we're like, oh, super kicks are dead. I feel like at this point, if someone else does a Samoan drop,
next person who does a Samoan drop gets a Samoan spike.
Like, and then of course, then they go outside and they do a spot with the Prime Station, and then I wrote in my notes
Which is getting so much play.
That's what I said. I literally wrote, "Is the Prime Station the new Spanish announce table? Everyone gets a spot."
Just so you all know, me and Nikki do not read each other's notes.
Oh no.
We share them all live just to make this show that much more fun.
Yeah, this whole thing, like, there's so many things. He's like, "Oh, well, I did this." I'm like, "Okay, I wasn't involved." So I said, I think the Prime Station is the new Spanish announce table. When they get back in the ring, he finally hits the drop down Goldust slap, and then he does his dusty punches. And then he jumps up to do the disaster kick, and Solo grabs him and does this beautiful kind of like sitting, like half, like it's not like a huge spin, but like maybe 90 degree, like a spinning sit down powerbomb. And then he hits him with the hip attack, and the crowd's like yelling at him, and then he hits him with like this beautiful, like, I don't know what I'm supposed to call it. Is it Uranagi? Is it a rock bottom?
No, it's a
But-
Uranagi because
But he did like he was on like he lifted Cody up and he was literally on one leg and slammed him. It was incredible. Again,
I got you.
but I loved it. Again, another.
Well, no, it's a power. Bray Wyatt does it. It's a
Yeah.
power move.
Yeah, and it's just like he would again, like you have the perfect picture of it, maybe. Like him on one.
I took
leg,
it myself. I was there live.
He just.
You
does
thought I
it
was here, but I really wasn't.
so-
It was a hologram.
I just love it. He just does like this big power move that looks so good. And then of course he hit him with the pin. Cody kicks out, and then at one point he gets Cody on the ring post in that tree of woe position, and like I don't, again, correct me below, Steven, him putting Cody in the tree of row and then
Row.
Jesus, my speech
That's a
kinda-
Jackson move. Jackson did that. Tree of Row. I love you.
tree of woe position, and then he does like a flying like headbutt and hits him twice, and I feel like he just clocked him in the jaw. So he did that twice. Of course, he goes to the third one because no one can hit a three amigo. And then Cody pulled himself up, and I'm like, oh, that ab work, girl. And then he did that. And then I love Corey Graves. I love Corey Graves so much. And Cody's like, this is the ugliest thing I ever saw. And he was like, Cody doesn't know where he is. Like, he pulled himself up, and he tried to do like a moonsault cross body, but kind of looked like a cartwheel. It literally looked like, watching it again, it looks like he tried to do a cartwheel.
The
off
announcers
top.
bailed them out. I appreciate that too.
I think-
Like
yeah,
more so than like
Corey's so
the
good at that.
'90s era stuff. It's
Corey
like
is good at
that's one thing that I think that like the no, like not just court, like but like the newer
that.
generation of like
well, yeah,
announcers are like bail them out. Like whereas like
like
JR Law, like all those other guys back in
King
the
of the Gal would
'90s.
shit in your fucking cereal.
Yeah, like yeah, like I think he was like he would just tell him he's still going for that move, and like just like not. I don't think they would crap on him. I just think they would just say like he was going for it and he hit it, and it's like no, he didn't. Like he or she didn't. They didn't.
Yeah, but it was just like Corey said it was ugly, and then he did this like weird cartwheel circle thing off that. And then he also went and then hit a superplex off the top rope. And then at this point, this is when we get into the fun sauce. He catches Cody, and again, I think the cutter is also a little too much. Cody hits the cutter, and then
That should be a finishing move. It is a finishing move for the dude in NXT. Ed's dude in NXT does it as a finishing move.
all right, well, it's not for Ospreay or
Evans. Something Evans.
Javon
yeah.
Evans.
I almost call him Jari because Jari is the guard who used to play for the New Orleans Saints. But anyway, I digress. Yes.
Anyway, so he catches Cody off the cutter, and then he has him in the crossroads position. Then of course Cody turns it and hits one of his own, and then of course, because Bloodline rules, God comes out, and they're in their to me their Team Rocket outfit. And they come out and beat him.
That is a.
They look like Team Rocket, and they're like a.
Listen, all I know
is gonna come out.
is that it's the summer, and I'm upset that Camacho's not dressed like a pirate. He's got the eye patch. He just needs the pirate outfit to complete it.
Well, he looks a little sloppy slop as per usual. But so they come out. They do their move on Cody. They put Solo on top of Cody. Cody kicks out, of course, and then music hits. KO comes out. At least KO jogs a little, comes out, and then next, because then they beat down KO, and then Randy Orton's music hits, and he's just like tiptoeing through the tulips, he's doing like this move.
Well, who doesn't want to see Randy Orton? He hypes up the crowd.
But he was clapping and high five. I'm sorry, like if you're supposed to save your friend, you think you'll put a little more pep in your step instead of like high fiving the people down the ramp.
It was like the Jeff Hardy when he went back to AEW and
he was like doing his like Matt's getting beat up in the ring and he's doing his like little doo-doo dance. But finally
he's just happy to be here, guys.
Obviously Randy gets in the ring, hits the RKO. Randy and Orton take out G.O.D. And at this point, Cody goes and gets the ring steps, brings them to the ring. He hits them twice with Cody hits them twice with the stairs. He goes to do it a third time, and then Solo spears him. Also, a good spear, unlike his brother Jay.
But again, no, we're going to go back on this. Is it because he's a thicker person? He's bigger than Jay. It's not like, it's just that size thing.
I think Solo has a better spear than Jay. But maybe, again, correct me wrong below, but I think that was such a different spot.
Murdoch thought the exact same thing.
Girl. I can't remember last.
Randy with a casual 400-foot stroll to the ring.
I know, he just, like, he mows. He's now, like, Randy Orton is like molasses. He just rolls. But I can't remember, again, correct me below, my early aughts are a little slow. Like, when's the last time you saw a spear and then the stairs went flying?
No, well, we watched the other night with the drop toe hold, which was nice.
Oh, that was a fun one. We did say that.
With the Shawn Michaels stuff. But, like, I don't know. I mean, like, there's not much. It's a big weapon to use. Yeah. So you can't really do much. You can, like, do it, like a spear, drop toe hold, or, like, you're dropping it. It's a big thing. Like, if he drops it.
This is
plus
also
safety.
When we get into
we're all about safety here.
Again, it hits the spear, kick out. This is when we get into the pickles. So then our good friend Jacob Fatu shows up, and he does his beautiful moonsault.
Whisper in the wind.
Whisper in the wind. I don't. Again,
Bloodline whispers in the wind.
I don't know what to call things anymore because I hear what I want to call it, what WWE calls it, and then all the other podcasts that I watch. I'm like, I don't know. He did a flippy do. At this point, he did a little flippy thing, and it was beautiful. And then he pulled Solo on top of Cody, kick out. So then he pulls him, and he goes outside. He clears the announce table, and then he super kicks him a couple times, punches him a couple times. Cody's on the announce table. He does the splash, and girl.
And this is the most controversial moment of
so beautiful.
SummerSlam.
Because he starts screaming about his leg, and he looks pissed as flip.
Yeah, Murdoch's still on this. Oh. I agree with you, though. It's a tough subject. Yeah, Randy has to be aware that he's coming to the ring for a critical save. Can't take 25 seconds to get the ring. I'm sure nobody must have mentioned that after backstage. Like, true, but like also it was like literally he ran 75 yards to the ring too. Like I might take my sweet ass time too. But like, yeah, I'm coming there, buddy.
Dude that went there quicker.
Just as soon as I finish this long power walk to the ring, I will save you.
Girl.
But we digress. So Jacob Fatu, his moment, not so moment in the sun, where he splat. So the big question of the night is this splash. This is a very big moment in the night, right? So is this, and Nikki and I have heard conflicting reports, is this a kayfabe situation where they're trying to take him out to avoid him interacting with what's about to happen or is this legitimate ankle injury? He was seen with a boot after this splash. So this splash happens. Jacob ankle presumably
a flippin' Oscar because I feel like the way he was screaming and he was throwing the office chairs and none of the commentators said the flipping thing. I don't know. And then I broke my foot before and was in a walking boot for like 3 months. Like, it's not something you want to do for fun. So, like, hey, let me cape this walking boot. I don't know. But I would think you would just kind of like limp somewhere. Like, a walking boot is extra.
Well, if listen, if you were in a walking boot, you might be called, according to Steven, RK slow.
Oh my god, he was doing like these like.
Yeah, that was a little ridiculous. Lisa's chiming in. Apparently, Jacob did hurt himself.
Yeah, so it's something. I just hope it's not a huge
Murdoch,
thing.
the Royal Rumble entrance. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, he mentioned in the press conference that he got a knee injury. Yeah, he did, or a leg injury. Yeah, he said he was a little banged up. That was the theory, but there's a lot of questions because the if you want to put on your tinfoil hat, did they not want an interaction between Jacob and Roman?
No, I think you gotta, and that's the thing. If he's legit injured, then let him recover and come back for Survivor Series, and let's do a War Games old new bloodline, please and thank you.
Exactly. So we continue along as I almost called him Samoa Joe. Solo's Code. I don't know why. Samoa Joe needs to be in the story.
Oh, we didn't get to the crux. So basically, he does this splash. He's screaming something's wrong. Cody's in the ring at this point. Solo jumps up, does the Usos splash like his big broths. He kick at it too. He's going to the Samoan spike. Cody collapses, and then somehow hulks up, does his Cody cutter. Both men are down, and he's got new ring entrance music. Our OTC is Little Splash, and Roman Reigns comes down looking like he's going to do something. And you're like, who, to what, and why? And huge pop, new music. His beard's too long.
Here we go.
Either be longer or be shorter, not in between. But he basically jumps in and Superman punches Solo. Then he gets in the corner like he does, and he does his ooh-ah. And then he spears Solo. He stares at Cody, and then like holy shit chants break out. Roman gets out of the ring. Cody hits another crossroads, 1, 2, 3, retains, but he stares at Roman. You can see the picture that Nick has up right now. Stares at Roman the whole time.
They have history. Is this the point in time where Roman has respect for Cody? Cody's been through a lot.
Because I feel like his faces, all the faces that they showed there, he was like intrigued, annoyed, confused, bothered, happy. I think at this point he needs to deal with the family, and he will do. I'm very much thinking Summer Survivor Series, War Games, Bloodline versus Bloodline. And then he will go. He's like, oh yeah, you keep that warm for me. I'm gonna deal with some family-ish. Then I'll come after you, though.
It's gonna be very, very interesting where they go from here. Now you have the two presumable tribal chiefs, right? You have Roman, you have Solo, who is the real tribal chief. So there's a lot of questions that can still go. There's a lot of directions they can go with the storyline. Like, there's still so much more to be told in this whole bloodline. We talk about the Civil War leading towards War Games, which is what it's expected at Survivor Series. So what does that look like? To your point from earlier, does Sami Zayn get involved in this whole feud? Is there more? Is there more Usos, Samoans? Tongas.
You haven't seen Jimmy. He needs to come back. You haven't. Dilla's somewhere. Hikuleo's somewhere. There's a lot. You saw that big tree that Rock had. Like there's.
Murdoch has his crystal ball. Well, Murdoch, get ready to call in. We want to hear from you. Well, what we want to know from all of you There's only one question. Now that there's 2 tribal chiefs, which one are you down with?
Get out with LPP, yeah, you know me. Get out with LPP, yeah, you know me. Get out with LPP, yeah, you know me. Who's down with LPP? Every last on me. Get out with LPP, yeah, you.
What are you guys thinking? Who are you down with?
Oh Lord. Too extra with this stuff.
I'm down with OTC.
Hey, you know me.
I don't have my head table shirt on tonight, but
No, you had on Friday 2 days ago.
yeah. Well, I know. Well, we got to put it through the wash, you know. It works. But yeah, who you guys down with? Who is your
Oh,
tribal chief?
put your ones up.
Put your ones up. Is it
kid.
Solo Sikoa? Or is it
Get out with LPP, yeah, you know me. Get out with LPP, yeah, you know me. Get out with LPP, yeah, you know me. Who's down with LPP? Every last on me. Get out with LPP.
so Nikki? Who are you down with? Or new TC, NTC, OTC or NTC?
Neither of the C's. Honestly, new. I'm very much Jimmy. I'm very much Sammy. I think this
No,
is-
old. You mean not new?
Oh, sorry. I think this is the Roman Reigns Vince wanted back in 2015, and it took like 1,000 years for us to get here. Like, he wanted this cool baby face back, and he's doing all the things. Like, God, it's so hard because I hated Roman Reigns for so long because Vince McMahon's like, this is your man. Take it down your throat.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, Vince, now. So I don't know. I'm interested to see how this goes. But again, he was not my favorite Shield member. So
True, but he's done wonders since
yeah,
then. Well,
it's so hard because he's like shoved.
Lisa is down with OTC.
I think it's gonna be. I really think it's gonna be good. I think he's gonna come back. I think he's gonna get the band back together
And
and
so is
fight
Murdoch.
Solo. Like I would love for you to show like the Solo crying photo, and I would love to know like
Well,
what
let's see.
happened
Oh.
with Heyman when he was like, oh my god, like is that not the best? Like chef kiss to Solo, like is that not amazing?
I was so close to getting a Happy Meal. He looked like a Happy, like a drop or like a him with a Happy Meal.
Someone
Like,
shit in his cereal, and he's not.
he's a
happy.
kid who did not get a Happy Meal.
Like I think we're about to get the Roman Reigns that we've wanted for like 1,000 years.
I feel like we've had that.
Now
we're getting the face version of it, maybe.
Again, me and you and face
The
heel,
face
heel
version, which
bullshit.
Nikki hates face
Oh,
heel.
God. I don't know.
Face heel, unbelievable.
I don't
How
know.
about
I
this
think
face
it's gonna
for you?
be, but again, does he come? Like, do you think he's gonna show up on SmackDown?
Like the kid who couldn't,
Do you
who
think
wasn't
he-
tall enough. He wasn't
He's
48
not riding
inches.
that ride.
You're not 48 inches, Solo. Can't ride that ride.
Like, I don't.
I don't know, it's gonna be really interesting. I'm really excited to see where this goes moving forward, and like, there's so much more that could with all the Tongans that were signed. Like Hikuleo, Zilla was in Cleveland. Like everything that's going on, there's still more to be told. There's so much more to be told in the story, and it's really exciting to see where it could go. I don't know. Like because there's inevitably a Solo Roman match, and that's so far away. It like I feel like in my mind,
Maybe Rumble.
it could even be WrestleMania at this point. Like the way that everything's slow played. The next big pay-per-view, Survivor Series, which could be the group, and then Royal Rumble.
It
Yeah,
has
to your
to be-
point.
If it's War Games, it has to be Bloodline versus Bloodline. Like, let's get Jacob's foot, ankle, knee situation covered.
I don't know. It's gonna be really interesting to see like where I wouldn't be shocked. I told you this like the very first couple episodes we did the show, I could see Solo being built up as the main event talent and having a solo Roman match. A solo Roman match. No, Murdoch does not agree. Nope. He doesn't think it's stretching out. I think he doesn't think it's stretching out to WrestleMania. But
he can call and tell me what he thinks.
you can. And that being said is a perfect segue to our next segment. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's SummerSlam. We want to hear from all you. We've heard from a lot of you already. What you're thinking, what you're drinking. What do you think about SummerSlam? A lot of different things, a lot of betrayals. Roman's return. Technically Arn Anderson's return. We have 4 title changes.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about this PLE? I'm getting it right.
PLE.
PLE. But that being said, let's hit it and open up the phone line. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's the SummerSlam special. We've gone a little bit longer. We got into a lot of details on this here PLE, but one of the top 4, the big 4. So we go longer for the big 4. So
it's the bridesmaid.
Yeah, it's what did they say? It's WrestleMania, Hot WrestleMania.
Hot Mania.
Mania. What do you all think of Hot Mania? Chime in the chat below. If you want to call in, phone lines are now open. So, dare I do that? You never know who's going to call in. So, it can be a little crazy, but we want to hear from all of you. Everyone's got a different opinion. But before we get started, let's start with a regular.
Yeah.
When you're a regular, you get your own entrance. Say his name, he appears.
I'm a scat man. I'm a scat
Ladies and gentlemen, Steven! Tree of Raw?
Gentlemen,
Bro.
ladies.
Row? Oh, Row. Derek Row.
Steven!
Yes, I'm just supporting that there actually is a tree of Row, as stated earlier in the episode.
Oh, Steve, we gotta get a better volume.
Low, babe.
All right, yeah, you're real low. Well, he's fixing those audio issues. We'll play the Steve remix. All right, let's see if he's back. Let's do it. Audio fix.
Hello?
You're real low, babe.
You're real low.
Hello?
We
Hold on,
closer to
I
the
know
mic.
what. Hold on.
All right, hold on. All right, we're gonna do it again. We'll bring it right back in.
I'm a scat man. I'm a scat
Yeah. Hey, at least it buys us time to get the technical issues worked out. So let's see. Third time's a charm, maybe.
I think I figured it out. Is that
we did
better?
it! Did it! We did
I
it!
had it. Well, now I know. Don't have it on the Bluetooth speaker when I'm trying to talk.
There you go.
He did it. Steve, What do you
So,
think?
yeah.
What do you drink?
So yeah, just supporting that as the callback from earlier in the show that there is such a thing as a tree of Roe. I found a picture and there it is. So tree of Roe is a thing.
Oh boy. It's
Yeah.
too.
Oh, Rowan Wars.
Yeah, Steven.
Well, let's see if I can.
Yeah. Well.
Nope, Rowan.
No, that's
Nope,
too
that
much
doesn't
of
do it.
my face. Nothing. Yep.
Doesn't do it. Anyway, Steve. So what are you thinking? SummerSlam recap, Steve.
Yeah. Well, what? 57,000 people. If you want stats, that's like 15 Dynamite audiences.
Girl.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy when you think about it. Like, you love Dynamite. Don't lie. You love listening to Dynamite or watching Dynamite. Sorry, no. Well, listening and watching.
Okay. Yeah, I catch
Maybe
a
you're
couple of
part the
minutes
listening
after.
group that just listens and doesn't watch. The announcing's pretty good.
Oh. I liked the show. I thought it was a lot better than last year's SummerSlam. Maybe the best PLE of the year so far, to rival Night 2 of Mania. Not really sure. I'd have to think about that. Not sure also where this would rank in SummerSlam lore. But I mean, really, they've hit it on all cylinders the last, at least since the beginning of the year and before. And I agree with Nikki that, yeah, this is the Roman Reigns they wanted 8 years ago. And they finally have him now. I mean, that was a pop, and that ooh-ah was one for the ages.
Yeah. But like 8 years, yeah, like this is the VKM version of that. Yeah.
I was at that Royal Rumble when Roman Reigns won and The Rock pulled up his arm in Philly and he got fucking booed. No one wanted this. This is the Roman we all want. And if you just let him be a thing and don't let him say like suckering succotash and all that bullshit, like they could have had. And I know he wants to wind down, so it's really sad that we're getting the best Roman in the later years when we could have had him for like 8 good ones.
But did we not think the same thing about like John Cena? I don't know. Like, I feel like the John Cena that we got the last 5 years is the John Cena that we're like, all right.
Stephen, I want you to speak to this because I was not watching early years.
Well, Cena's one of the few who had this happen without having to turn heel. In the middle of a face run, like this is what happened with Shawn Michaels. This is what happened with The Rock. This is what happened with Austin. Austin started out as a heel and didn't really get much until they actually changed and were able to let the slightly exaggerated real life personalities come through. And this is what's finally happened with Roman, plus the time off, the whole theory of how can we miss you if you don't go away. That's probably also helps to explain Cena. He went off to make movies and stuff.
No, that's fair. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like, yeah, to your point, yeah, was this the babyface? We always argue about this. Was this a babyface version of Roman Reigns that they wanted? Absolutely. Like 10 years ago, if you could have written this in, they would have said absolutely. They would have signed up for this in a heartbeat. But sometimes it takes that path that you go along that path to get to this moment where like I have such a respect for John Cena now. Like literally when he became a part-timer, it changed my whole opinion on him because of the fact that like, all right, like I look back on his thugonomics stuff and like I look back on like his PG era stuff he was just force fed. Like he was doing what he needed to do to get by and like he was a politician just like everyone else was. Like Hulk Hogan was a big politician. Like a lot of these guys were politicians to get themselves over. So I don't know. Like and later in his career, when they've already had their moments, they want to give it back, and they're so much more invested. Randy Orton's like that right now. You've seen it even with like is RKO stuff with oh my gosh, Riddle. Like you saw that like it reinvented him as a wrestler and like reinvigorized him. So it's really exciting to see, and like this is the next couple of years or whatever we see of Roman. I don't expect it to be full time, but the part time is going to be magical in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly, and it's going to make the Orton heel turn that I'm sure we're going to see in the next couple of weeks. Be even more effective.
Exactly, Steve. So before we let you go, last shot.
Just about Dom. I saw this comment, and credit to whoever it was, whether you're listening, you're probably not listening, but whoever it is who said about Dom last night at the end of that match that they had never seen a heel turn heel before, and
That's amazing.
And that the only, as far as I'm concerned, the kind of heat I would imagine he would be getting tomorrow, if in fact he went out to the ring to do anything. The only other person I've ever seen get that kind of heat on a regular basis was his mother, Vicky. So,
Yeah. Touche. Steve with the last
Singer.
last shot.
Cheers, folks.
Well, that being said, Steven,
Yep.
you, sir, are cut off after that joke about Vicky Guerrero. Fine lady she is. But that being said, we have another caller on the line. Newcomer to the line, Nikki.
Oh.
Let's bring him in. He's been commenting all show, so we're eager to hear his opinions. Ladies and gentlemen, bring him in. Murdoch, welcome to the show. What are you drinking? What are you thinking?
What's up, guys? I'm just not alcoholic. As of right now, I have work tomorrow, so
Don't we all?
we don't know yet, so I gotta take it easy for now.
All good.
So-
Well, welcome in. Welcome in. Thanks for coming in. We appreciate the
Oh, no problem,
comments.
brother.
Want to hear from you?
Yeah,
What
no.
do you-
Well, actually, I don't know if you recognize me, but we're in the Jets football chats.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, with Asman and the 411 and Nick Shine. So I saw you call in, and I saw that you had I think you had it written on the bottom that you had a wrestling show. I was like, I've been a wrestling junkie for 4 decades. Like, oh, he's got a show. Let me go check it out. Yeah, I don't have many people to talk about it with, so.
Well, welcome in. Well, hopefully you become a regular. This is the first of hopefully many for you.
Yeah, thanks, brother. Yeah, what you said, Fridays at 6?
Yeah, Fridays at 6 Eastern,
Yeah.
whatever that time is for you. So you Eastern time?
Yeah, so I get home from work, random time, so definitely if I'm home by 6, I'll absolutely pop in.
Well, welcome in. So what are you thinking? Great.
Thanks,
sports.
Nike. I actually, athletically, I thought it was a good show, like as far as in ring. I'm more of like a creative, figure out the story, where it's going, behind the scenes detective, like as far as predicting everything.
Yeah.
The matches, I like to see the athletic matches where, they run smoothly and it's done right. So I was
you're
really
more a
listening to you.
storyline guy, kind of like me. Like you're very storyline driven, it seems.
Well, Nick, the thing is, I've been a fan since like 82, 83, since I was a puppy.
Mhm.
And I've seen all these movies 5,000 times. So I already know what's going to happen all the time. So it's just like, oh, maybe a little wrinkle here, a little wrinkle there, and they should do this or that. So I look at it from that lens. And yeah.
Well, no, that's a fair point because a lot of things you don't need to change what works, right? Like that's the beauty of it. Like whether it's football, wrestling, like the things that work have worked for a reason historically, right? Like so they come back and everything's cyclical. Whether it's football, wrestling, you see the same thing. You see the generations, like the bloodline, right? You see the generation of wrestlers that have happened that their fathers compete in WWE. Same thing with the NFL. You see the generations of like the Watts, the Asante Samuels. Like those people that come into the NFL. And it's the same thing, is they were born into it. And that's what we're seeing, I think, now with professional wrestling, is that the people that are elevating are the ones that are just, they have that lineage with them, and they come in and they bring that, and everything they've learned from seeing their parents and grandparents wrestle, they bring that in. And to your point, there's wrinkles and everything, and that's what's so fun about it, is you could go a million different directions in any storyline with one little change. And that's the beauty, is that these guys have seen it and lived it through their parents, and they can maybe correct what they thought was wrong and improve on what they thought was, was weak. So it's really nice about that. Like, you can't teach that. It's something, like that you just grew up in,
Yeah, especially like character development or how they want to be. I'm sure all those second and third generation guys figured, when I get there one day, I'm going to be like this guy. This is how I'm going to be. So yeah, and they make their alterations throughout. Like Cody Rhodes is a prime example. And of course you got to know that they don't have all the say in that. Like, I'm sure, well, I know he didn't want to do Stardust, so I'm sure that wasn't on his what do they call it, that whatever wall, the dream wall or something.
The fourth wall?
No, like when people, like a dream board or something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for like your future aspirations. I'm pretty sure he didn't have Stardust up there. So they get forced into stuff with rebranding and everything.
The guy in creative probably didn't have Stardust on that board.
Yeah, no, it's just like the Royal Rumble. I think I've picked the last 4 winners before it was even announced. Like, it all just seems to, every time I watch, I'm like, I've seen this before. I see the shows leading up to it. I see the build, and then I know who the winner is going to be. I get the Final Fours right all the time. So it's, like I said, it's just the experience of 41 years that you just know. Every now and then, something out of left field comes, you're like, oh shit, I didn't see that coming, but more often than not, it is. So,
So, Murdoch, what surprised you about this SummerSlam this year?
What? I don't really think, Nikki, you said you went 6-1.
I did.
Yeah, there was like one match where I was like, I can go either way, or maybe 2.
I was so hardcore into wrestling until I kind of went to later years of high school, and it's not cool for a girl to like wrestling, so I got it dropped off. And then a friend of mine was like, Nick, you will love CM Punk, and I got right back into it. So I picked my brain to CM Punk, so that's the only thing I got wrong. But I'm not mad that Drew won, because it kind of makes sense in story. But that's the only thing I predicted wrong.
That was the match where I was like, I could see it going either way.
Right.
I lean towards Drew because CM Punk, like, now this is where I like live, this area. CM Punk's back in the company. Drew has had a lot of bad stuff happen to him. You can't have the guy keep losing. They had the feud. He's coming off injury. You're not going to just have him take out Drew right away. He'll beat Drew later on. So I was like, I could see it, but I wouldn't be surprised if Punk wins in the end. Seth gets involved. You know what I mean? I was on the fence. Nia, I had a feeling Nia had to win simply because of Tiffany having the briefcase. Because that's going to be its own storyline of, is she going to cash in on her friend? That's like classic, right? And eventually she will.
But see, that to me is a storyline you could still prolong. Like, you could still
they will
as a champion. So that's why like me and Nikki disagreed on that pick, because the fact that, like, I could see Bayley needing the win, getting the win and the momentum, and keeping it for another month, maybe 2, as Nia builds up. Yeah, like, that storyline is much better, because it's just like Rollins when he was in the Authority. Like, he had the briefcase, they had the title, like, they were always chasing it. They always had the control, and like, that was the idea, is like, you want to keep your friends closer. I mean, and the person briefcase closer. Like, but I felt like they could have extended it out a little bit further to keep Bayley relevant, somewhat. You know what I mean?
Okay, but then you got to. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Nikki. You were gonna say something?
I would say, as a Booker man, Triple H, and we've had this conversation all the time. he won the King of the Ring. He thinks it should be prestigious. So he's going to have his two bringing back that step. Those two people are going to win. I don't think Bailey. We knew it was going to be Bailey Nia for months. Like I don't think it was going. For me, foregone conclusion. He loves the long story, the steps, the things. To me, Nia was fucking winning. But I'm sorry, I cut everybody off guard.
No, it's okay. That's good. I think the storyline of having the champ and her sidekick, kind of like with AEW, right? With Maya, what's her name?
Mariah
The
May.
two Mariah May, right, and Tony Storm. So it's the same thing. You knew at some point she's going to turn on her. It's just you see it right in front unfolding, and you would experience, like you guys I'm sure have. You could probably be like, when's it coming? It's coming soon, right? It's the same thing that's going to be with Tiffany and Nia. Oh, the champ. Oh, her sidekick has the briefcase. It's only a matter of time when they decide to do it. It's probably going to be at a PLE, I would assume. You never know, but probably. So, but that's what's just going to happen. It can't be any other way.
You gotta give the big moment, right? Like that's the idea. Is you're building up a star at some point in time. Like you're building up like a new star, or you're extenuating like the star that you have as the champion. So yeah, you have to do it. Like there's no way. I actually was talking with one of my friends about this. Like you never see like a Raw title change. I was like, it rarely happens unless it's a big Raw or big SmackDown, because that's the thing. Is
like an anniversary.
Yeah, you want the eyeballs. You want the eyeballs to the product because you want that star to get over as much as possible. So yeah, it's not going to be on the Tuesday in like March 1st or 2nd. It's not going to happen like that because you want.
They used to. They used to do that, like a random once in a blue moon. There was a period of time where titles were changing hands often, and like faster than now. And sometimes it would be because the champion got hurt, and they had to just take the title, like off them now. They had to have a surgery or something, or whatever reason they had to go away, and then they dropped the title on a Raw or SmackDown. Like something like that would happen. It's rarer. It doesn't really happen often, but I remember it used to happen like a bunch of times in a period, like a time period. I was like, this is where we're going now. Okay. Like you never know, because I thought it kept everyone on their toes.
So a lot of that has to do with, we're in an era where like there's all these TV deals. So, they're about to sign the deal with Netflix. So yeah. I would not be shocked. Mark my words now on August 4th, 2024, that the Netflix opening episode, there will be a title change.
Should be.
The Raw, yeah, because they're going to do, like, it's going to be significant time stones, in timestamps for the company.
Punk turned heel on episode 1000. After the Raw.
Yeah, like there has to be, like, it's a whole new branding for them. They're
right.
and that's what it's really exciting to me, like, because growing up an Attitude Era kid, like that idea of like pushing the envelope and going to Netflix and knowing their programming, being a Netflix subscriber, like it's gonna be more edgy. It's gonna be a lot different, and that's what excites me about like an Attitude Era type company. I think they're like the Raw is gonna be very different than what we've seen.
Mm-hmm. Well, Attitude Era, in my opinion, was the best era, most entertaining. And they know that the fans that are old enough that could judge so many different eras always pick Attitude Era. So they kind of know, like, if they're gonna cater to the fan base, like, let's go a little bit more. But you can't forget that they always keep in mind that children watch, so they're not going to take it too far. But they're going to get a little edgier for sure. They have to. It's like, especially being on Netflix, like you said. So I can't wait for that. I need it more edgier because Attitude Era was lit. Like it was fun. I'm back from the Legends era, like in the early '80s, and then the only break I really took was the New Gen era. Like when everybody had a gimmick to where, you had the turkey guy. What was his name? The gobbledygooker. Yeah, everybody, like, I remember the story, like, Vince McMahon would bring you into his office and he'd be like, tell me about yourself, pal. And he was like, oh, well, my name is Bobby, whatever. I'm from so-and-so. I worked in sanitation. Oh, you're Duke the Dumpster.
Yeah.
Oh, you played semi-pro hockey? You're the Goon. Like, I couldn't stand that. So that turned me off, and I was getting into more things at that age. So I tuned that out. And then right after that was the Attitude Era. So, and then I came back because I was like, what's this? So I was like, this was great.
It's all derivative, right? Like of what we've seen before, and then like what's next, and they recognize that it had change and certain things. Like you don't have that character. It's a lot of like the Attitude Era was a lot of tweeners. Like Stone Cold Steve Austin was a tweener. He was supposed to be a heel that was just very well liked by everyone because they're like, yeah, like I hate my boss. I hate all this garbage that was going on to me. Like this is what society is. Like society is a tweener society. Like you have people like and elements of your personality people don't like. Like that's just reality. So and that's where it's come in the last 25 30 now. Jeez, we're in 2020, so that's crazy. 30 years.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it's come such a long way. Murdoch, this has been phenomenal. We appreciate you coming in. Definitely come back. If you're free Fridays at 6, you got to come back in. We love these opinions.
Yeah, no doubt, bro. I say a lot of controversial things that people are like, what? But I do. I'll get what you gave a prediction, right? August 4th. I'm gonna give because my opinions, they could evolve, right, based on stuff I see where it goes. But I have opinions right now from what I've seen, and that's in ring, that's backstage, that's whatever, all included. So when you guys were talking about the bloodline, I agree that it's going to be Roman. I could see the Usos coming back to team up with him. They'll rejoin. It'll be the original bloodline with Heyman, the Usos, Roman, and you mentioned Zilla, right, Nikki?
You mentioned Zilla. I said Sammy because that's.
Oh, Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
Okay,
Nikki,
well, I wouldn't hate that.
That Sammy probably, but Zilla was in Cleveland. There were some rumors circulating about that.
Well, he's also family to them on some level. So Zilla's been backstage at a lot of events, like as a family member that's on the indies right now. So he could be there for a myriad of reasons. Personally, I don't like him. I've seen like stuff of him that he puts out there. I don't like the personality or the character. He's too, I don't know. I'm just not a fan. So I was kind of like hoping they wouldn't go that direction. But since Rock came in, it's gone all that family way. Nia's back. They brought in the Tongans. It's like, his daughter's position in NXT. She wasn't making it as a wrestler, so now she's the commissioner. So, like, there's a heavy influence from him on anybody who's remotely blood related through marriage or who knows. So that you've seen a heavy influx of that. But anyway, get back to the point. I agree. Yeah, Sammy's not a bad idea. Or if they bring in a Zilla, because they'd have to even it out, right?
Yeah.
So if you have the two Tongans and Jacob, that's 3 plus Solo's 4. On the other side, you have the Usos, Roman, whether it's Zilla, Sammy, or it could be The Rock himself to make it 4-on-4.
I don't think The Rock's going to be Rock's going to stay heel. He's going to be the final boss in this heel storyline. To me, I can't see it. I can't see him turning face in any.
He's turning on Roman. He's going to be the mastermind behind Solo. And that's where
I agree with you. I think that Solo was just like a figurehead while Rock
right, like he's the guy behind the scenes, and Solo knows it, but he's playing that guy now. So then Rock still has the ability to turn on Roman when he partners up with him. Cool. Oh yeah, we're boys. And then when it matters, he's going to turn on him, and Rock's going to be the final boss, devilish guy behind the scenes. And that's how you set up Roman Rock WrestleMania that was supposed to happen the last 2 years. They're going to do that. So you like keeping that in mind when they wanted to do it, not this one, but the one before, and it didn't work out. And then this year they tried, and then the whole thing with Cody. that doesn't mean they're scrapping it. And they probably want to get that done sooner rather than later because they're all getting older. So that factors into my predictions. Is they're going to need a way to get that to happen. So at first it was like, hey, tribal chief, Rock's the real tribal chief. You know what I mean? But they can go that way, but I just think to make it more interesting with more people involved in the storyline, it's going to be Rock's the puppet master turning on Roman the whole time. So
you need to your point, you need layers to the storyline. Like this is a great way to elevate someone like Solo, who's not a traditionally great talker, and putting him in the main event scene through the storyline. Like, and you're going to elevate everyone. Like, it's Solo, Jacobs getting crazy push from this, like more than Solo, I would argue. But and even the God, like they're going to get a push from this. So like allowing them to just stay in the periphery of this storyline and be, the ones that take the matches and maybe take the fall, so to speak. But like it keeps them elevated to some extent. So yeah, it works out for everybody.
The one thing missing from the end of the show last night was Paul Heyman waiting as Roman walked back. Like, because they put him through a table. If like Roman came out by himself, it would have been cool if Heyman came out with him, but I'm totally fine with Roman coming out by himself. But when he walked back and they're showing him look at Cody, but that Heyman was waiting for him, like, thanks for having my back because of what they did to me. Yeah, so now I saw the stare back, and I don't know if you noticed that Roman went OTC. I don't know if that's going to stand for original tribal chief, like that Jackie Redmond said, or it could be the only tribal chief. That's how I would have had it. But so he's looking at Cody to be like, we're not done because I'm going to take that title back at some point.
I gotta deal with the family first.
There's layers.
For you.
There's layers to the storyline.
I got to deal with this guy, but eventually I'm coming because you got to think. They're telling you Cody's the face of the company and with giving him the ball to run. You're not taking the title off him for a long time. So then and that goes into a point that I heard you guys talking about before I called in was Bailey, right? I looked at Bailey and what's his name? Damian Priest as transitional champions. I knew back in the Royal Rumble that Gunther was going to win the title at SummerSlam, especially when he came close to winning. And once it was King of the Ring, it was 100% set. So now I'm thinking, okay, they're not going to give the title to like a megastar for Gunther to take. They're going to give the title to somebody that worked hard, that they at least want to get him on the record books as being a champion. Now, Damian Priest is in his 40s, the long road. Triple H likes his story. So he's like, okay, I'm going to give you the title for 4 months. Let you enjoy that. You'll be in history as a champion. But Gunther's taking it at SummerSlam. They've been pushing him since NXT. You knew he was going to be a champion. You knew Bron Breakker was going to come in and be a champion right away. And that's also drives me crazy. I can't stand how they take these NXT people and put rocket ships on them when they shouldn't, especially people that shouldn't get the rocket ships. I'm okay with Braun.
I feel like there's going to be a Braun Gunther match coming in the next 18 months for sure. I think it'd be a big miss if with the momentum that both of them have.
Yeah,
it would be a huge miss.
Well, at 18 months, I could see that, but they just both each got their titles, so you're not gonna.
I don't think both of them are gonna get their run, so to speak. But it's such a. You don't do it within the next 2 years when both of them have that much momentum. It's a big miss.
No, I agree with that. It's not gonna be for a while. You can't give them titles and then take it within how many months? 4 to 6 minimum.
Over 3.
Minimum, right? And now you also got to be careful now thinking this from creative and business standpoint. You just had Gunther had that Intercontinental title for way too long, just to get him to break records. Roman just had the heavyweight championship, for over 3 years? That's absurd. Which is a reason why Roman had all that hate was I loved Roman. When he was in the Shield, I was like, that guy's a star. And Seth. Sorry, Nikki, I was never a fan of Dean. But John Moxley, and I never will be. I never liked him. But I like the other two in the Shield, saying, pegging them as no Diddy. But I mean, saying those two are going to be stars, Mox, he just never. But the
See, I
problem
thought,
with the
I literally thought Rollins was going to be the out of the three. I thought Rollins was going to be the one who was.
Well,
would
he
fall.
was. He was the plan B, baby.
Yeah,
it was Roman and Seth.
Moxley was great on the. He was so good on the mic. Like he had that and that's the thing that
I
Shawn
didn't like him.
he talks about all the time though. Like I hate it. Like and don't take this the wrong way because we love Liv Morgan on the show. I love Liv Morgan, but like if you can talk me into the room into your match, I don't care if you're bad in the ring. Like you talk me into the room, I'll watch your 10-minute match. Brock Lesnar was so awful for so long, and like Goldberg was so bad. Like, but like because the way that like Ultimate Warrior back in the '90s was so bad, but like he made nonsensical promos that made you want to watch, and that's the thing. And Shawn Michaels believes in that, and that's what I think we're heading towards. To be perfectly honest.
Yeah. The problem with Roman, Nick, was that, like I said, I loved him right off the bat and Seth, but with Roman, they shoved him down your throat so much it made you root against him. Like you didn't. It was like, come on, this guy never loses, and it was just annoying. It's like you got to let these guys lose at some, here and there, and the fact that they, over 3 years champion, like, come on, man, that's too much. And even when he was a baby face after the Shield, it was just him beating everybody is not good for his brand. You got to take an L every now and then for the fans to be like, because you watch a match, like Roman's going to win anyway. Like, okay, it's this guy's time. Like this guy put in the work. Like a lot of fans want to see him get it, but Roman's going to win anyway. So it's like that really soured his brand as far as the fans go. I think people always want to like him. Huh?
That was the Cena treatment. Like everyone was like, "Oh, Cena's going to win everything." The Super Cena. Right? Like, you saw that so much with him, like over the year. And that's where, like we talked about this earlier, like John Cena. I had such a deeper appreciation for him over the last 6 years, 7 when he became a part-timer, because I don't like. To me, like he gave up, and it's the same thing that I see with Randy Orton with the Riddle stuff. It's like he knew that, like, and maybe this is just like an indictment on like society. Like he gave up the fact that like he achieved everything he needed to in his career, right? And he knew he had to give back to the business, and that's what Cena's last year is going to be too, is him giving back. And if he doesn't like put over everyone, and like there should be some wins, there should be wins along the way that he should get that makes sense. Like, yeah, maybe a world title doesn't make sense, but maybe like winning the U.S. title or something stupid, like not saying the U.S. title from like Logan, L.A. Knight, but like something along those lines might make more sense to elevate a mid-card title in his last run. And that's what I appreciate. Like, the latter part of the careers of a lot of these guys, like even like Undertaker, like Shawn Michaels, they put over everybody knowing that the business needed to move forward. And at this point, like, I don't know, there's so much value that, like, I don't know if it definitely wasn't the Cena era, but it was like right before that where like the part-timers, everyone was really like anti-part-time, right? Like it was like, oh, well, I'm here every week. But like the reality of it is you don't have to be there every week if you're producing great content every other week. And that's what the product is now, is that like you see like the Wyatt Six is one of the most compelling storylines on WB right now. One of the top 3 or 4. And it wasn't on SummerSlam, and it didn't need to be. Because if you produce it the right way and you keep elevating everyone, you're gonna move in the right direction. And like everyone has to have their spot, their time in the spotlight, and maximize that time moving forward. So I don't know. There's so many, like, because we talked about this last night as we were watching it. Like Nikki and I were very much into this whole possibly like the Wyatt Six. Like, do they make a comment? Like, do they do anything? I was like, no, because they don't need to. They're on Raw tomorrow night, and that's what's great about it. It's like you still have so much momentum, so much forward momentum with everything that's going on. And that's great writing. And that's what's so great about professional wrestling right now is that, you know, you have a guy, the head of creative, Triple H, who understands it. He lived it throughout the 90s and developing characters. And it doesn't need to have a title to be relevant. It needs to have a good storyline. It could be like the live, we, you know, for the last X amount of months, and you'll see this, and we appreciate you being a new joinee to our show. Like, we were all about Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley, because, you know, Liv Morgan's a New Jersey girl. We're from New Jersey. Like, we followed this storyline for so long, but that storyline does not need the title. You could make it over Dom and like the grudge match between the two of them. That could have main evented SummerSlam just without the title.
Yeah, I'm a Liv guy too.
Yeah, it's just like, but that's how you know wrestling is being good, when you don't need to put a title in there to make the match matter.
Right, of course. Well, look at the comment I wrote in the chat before was like when we were talking about Damage Control and the girls coming from NXT. They're doing the same thing with the Wyatt Six. They're doing the same thing. So, I mean, Dexter Lumis, I always liked him, but he never really got a push. He was like mid, like the way they used him. What was the other guy? I can't remember. I'm having such brain farts tonight. He was the leader of that faction. Gacy, thank you. What was, you know, he had a good match with Dijakovic, but it was a way to get them to the main roster and relevant because they were going nowhere. So they join up, you know, they become part of the Wyatt Six, and you know, now they'll be able to do something on the main roster. That's how they do it. They bring up NXT guys and girls, and they do things like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that like with this storyline, like there's guys that like Gacy had a lot of potential. Gacy could have been, I think, at least a top mid card talent to borderline main event talent, because of the way he works the microphone. And he's not great in the ring, but he's reasonable in the ring. And like to what we talked about with Liv Morgan and some of the other talents, like you can talk me into your match. That's enough for a lot of what we see on WWE. So Gacy, I think had a lot of potential. Lumis,
I'm gonna interrupt you because you're making me angry. So there's different things. So Bailey coming up on SummerSlam, and like I have Io and I have Dakota Kai. We're just coming up from NXT, and for I think the Wyatt Six, the long story that they're telling, like when him writing the letters on the WhatsApp or the YouTube, whatever the fuck platform they were, and then now they're doing all the videos. They're teasing already on Twitter that Gacy's going to be the Monday Night video. I think you're introducing what was and what's gonna happen and what the future is very different than Bailey like, these are my girls, and then Bo going like, I saved these people from the cave. They were in shitty factions, and I'm going to make them into a better faction. And that's very different to me.
Yeah, there's more of an investment for sure.
Well, to the point. Okay, so if Joe Gacy leaves NXT and he comes to the main roster, is he successful?
I hope so.
On his own.
I think so. Because I think he would be. Listen, I think he'd be where LA Knight is to some extent.
No way.
Not right now. Not right
No
now.
way.
LA Knight like a year and a half ago, because he's very good. Like I said, he's very good at promo. He knows how to work the crowd, and there's something to that. And in your matches, like I look back and whatever your opinion on it, but like Hulk Hogan talks a lot about this. Like back in the 80s and 90s, like a lot of it is not. You can have tremendous athletic ability, but a lot of it is the nuance in between, like throwing a punch and like revving up your arm and making it like really, really have that nuance and impact when you hit him. So like I think that the theatrics of wrestling is something that some people know better than others. Like, I think there's certain people that are phenomenal in-ring abilities.
Well,
Like
I got a great example for you, Nick.
Mm.
Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels. Bret Hart was the technician. He didn't really get the love. Like, people respected him, but everyone loved Shawn Michaels because of the flair. He had the athleticism and the charisma. And I'm sure that drove Bret Hart crazy because of all the hard work he put in. But they were like, you've been here a while. You're a tag team champ in the Hart Foundation for years. And now we're elevating you to main event, but this guy is just killing it with charisma, and everyone loves him. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that. Bret had all the attributes as far as technicality, like a master technician in there, but they still passed on him for Shawn Michaels when it came down to it.
Well, you know what it's like? The best example, and I use this all the time, and you're a Jet guy, so you might know Connor. And Connor's the young Jet fan, and like he's like, I don't understand wrestling. And the best way to understand professional wrestling, it's like music. Like, you have people like pop music, like Zach Wilde, right, is the guitarist for Ozzy Osbourne, or was the guitarist for Ozzy Osbourne. Phenomenal guitarist. I could only dream to be as good a guitarist as him. Could Zach Wilde play Taylor Swift songs? Probably, right? And does that make Taylor Swift songs any less like popular to her crowd? No. And that's the idea, is that like a lot of people see that, and like you can have great in-ring ability, but a lot of it is 80 to 90% is the storytelling of what you're doing. And you could do all these like, look at guys like Ricochet, and I love Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay puts on great matches time and time again. I think what happens is a lot of it, he gets lost in the storylines that he's in, because there's no, like, Jim Ross talks about this all the time. He's like, you need some sort of grudge match. You need some sort of storyline to gravitate you to the match. Like, all these moves, the moonsaws, like Logan Paul doing the backflip, it's phenomenal. It's great to see. But like, if you don't have some connection to that match, it's just a great spot that just accentuates the match. You know what I mean?
A side note, is Ricochet going to AEW?
Yeah, I think he's going to be there.
Okay, I don't know if he's signed or anything, because my dream for like the last 5 years or more was to have Ospreay come to WWE and them have a WrestleMania match. Like, my dream scenario was, you remember how the Hardys came back as a guest tag, like surprise tag team in Mania? Crowd went crazy. Mine was gonna be like Ricochet is some sort of champion, and then someone gets hurt. Oh, we need a emergency opponent, and it's fucking Ospreay.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, because they had a couple of matches in Japan that blew me away, and I was hoping it happened in WWE, but it looks like it's gonna happen in AEW.
So you gotta. Did you see the NXT? Is it Sol Ruka and?
Oh, don't
my
get
God.
me started, girl.
Sol Ruka and oh my God,
Kalani Jordan.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
an equivalent. Like, some of it is mirroring that match,
so
and it's
they
phenomenal.
did the same flippy things, and then Meltzer was like, "Oh, it was just like them doing flips. It's not a match." But he fucking gave Ospreay and
Yeah.
5 stars. It was like,
Sol Ruka is one of my favorites coming up. There's a few girls in NXT.
I can't wait for her.
Are you a fan of her or no?
No, Sol Ruka, I love. I can't wait for her to, like, she should be women's champion. Like, she's phenomenal. Like, her Soul Snatcher.
Yeah. No, there's a couple of girls in NXT that I think are going to be able to make it. What? Because I mean, you look at Bianca Belair, right? She lost a lot in NXT. She didn't win those titles. She lost all the time to the bigger name NXT girls. Put her on the main roster, and here's the rocket ship. You know.
Yeah.
So I can't just say, "Oh, she wasn't the NXT Women's Champion." Doesn't matter. You know, she gets brought up to. They'll see what they need to see. And I think Sol Ruka is going to get the push once she gets up there. Kalani Jordan's definitely going to get the push. There's a couple girls that I think have it.
It's definitely exciting to see, you know, what's going to happen. Like they have a lot of good talent down in NXT, and moving forward, like, as long as everyone can develop, and you don't even need it. Like Shawn Michaels talked about, you don't need to develop your character as much, because when you get the main roster, it's a different character.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna say, when a friend of mine was teaching me poker, he's like, all you need is a chip and a chair. And I feel like all those kids that were kind of down, like the Joe Gacy's, like, give me a chip, give me a chair, let me show you. Like, I just feel like there's so many people that they don't get the seconds to shine. And I'm like, I want to give you a chip and a chair and show me what you got.
Well, this is going to be this is good for his career because that's what I was trying to get to before was if Joe Gacy shows up on the main roster without this, he's not winning. He's not really like how Cameron Grimes came to the main roster,
That hurt
1 or
my
2 wins real quick. Where has he been? Like wasn't connected with fans. Fans were like, oh, whatever. But he was a top card guy for a while in NXT, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, right. So he gets up to the main roster and there's just like, nah, fans, you're not ready for this, or they're just not accepting you. You put Joe Gacy, I think, is in the same boat, but you put him in the Wyatt Six, everyone has an emotional investment for it, not for anybody individually, but because of Bray.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Nobody really wanted to see Bo Dallas. You know, Bo Dallas is there because of Bray when he came as Uncle Howdy, and now that Bray's gone, you know, he's almost like bulletproof right now. So that, I mean, that's my personal opinion about it, but it is what it is. It's here. So putting someone like Joe Gacy in that group and a Dexter Loomis is going to give them that instant success to where what do you think? They're not going to be in that group and be jobbers, you know? They're going to win their matches to build up their credibility, and that'll be where they sit.
Exactly.
While they're in the group. That's just the way it happens, you know?
For sure. Well put. Well, Murdoch, before we let you go, any last shots? Hopefully we catch you back next Friday.
Yeah, man. Anytime I'm available when I come home from work, because my schedule is not 9 to 5. It's start at 6 until whenever you're done. Or you know, so there's no set time. So yeah, man. I love talking wrestling. I just know I might say some unpopular things.
Hey, hey,
So,
that's this show. That's you found the right show. So we're here every Friday at 6. So Eastern, whatever that is for you. I don't know if you're Eastern, but welcome in. Appreciate you calling in.
thanks, brother.
Any last shots before you go?
Yeah, Jets are winning the Super Bowl. We're winning at least 13 games minimum. That's my floor. 12 my floor. 13 and up I'm expecting. I want to make sure that I want to see if that prediction comes true with the Bloodline and the Rock. I just something in there. But yeah, no, man, it was a good conversation. Thanks for letting me on and getting all that off my chest.
Pleasure as always.
Anytime.
Feel free to come back. Well,
Nice to meet you
Murdoch,
guys. I'll definitely
Cheers.
be popping back in. All right, guys, have a good one.
Take care. Ladies and gentlemen, Murdoch. You sure cut up. So,
Girl.
SummerSlam special. You never know who's going to show up. New friends. Party.
I need to go to bed.
I know. It's 8:30. Well, it's a fun night. It's SummerSlam. It's the hottest party of the summer, and you were not ready for the hottest party
Can
of
I
the summer.
say a hot take about Hot Mania?
What's your hot take?
You also look hot.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Husband
I
here.
don't have any bow chick bow wow music, so
Husband here.
that's where we get to.
Where
But
does that need to go?
anyway,
God.
it was a blast. We appreciate you all for joining us. We will catch you back here Friday at our normal time, 6 Eastern. Whatever that is for you locally. So get ready. Enjoy the week of wrestling. You got the Wyatt 6 debuting on Raw. You got a lot.
This is my house.
I'm destroying the house. A lot going on. So we appreciate you all. SummerSlam special was a blast. But you do not have to go home.
But you cannot fucking stay here.